Live from Harbor Station, it's the Vector Spaceman Show. Now, here's your host, Vector Spaceman.
There we are. Look at that. Coming in nice and fancy. Here we are again, Space Cadets Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. The Vector Spaceman Show. Welcome back to the program, and if it's your first time tuning in tonight, then welcome aboard. I'm your host, Vector Spaceman. We're back in studio tonight. It's the Wednesday chit-chat program. We've got stunning guests here this evening. You'll love this. Two of our all-time favorite co-hosts and virtual streamers, of course. Back for another round of riveting conversation. Please welcome back to the show the talented, the affable, the esteemed, the luminous Dregn and Neffeltan, and everybody. Big round of applause. Oh my goodness gracious.
Hey,
but something seems to have gone amiss. Our guests, they're quite literally missing. Hold on a sec. Let's do a quick refresh here. Something always gotta be up, it seems. Always having problems. Let's go and refresh. And there we go. Hey, we've got Dregn on the show, everybody.
Am I live? Am I real?
He's live, he's real, he's a real boy. Check him out, everybody.
Hey, Mr. Vector, I don't feel so good.
Now, Dregn, something seems amiss here.
Yeah, where's my double?
Your partner in crime. Yes, indeed.
Copy paste. We can double up on the dragons.
We should just put two dragons in instead.
Yeah.
So we're currently suffering from an issue of timing, of poor sleep scheduling, of just youthful exuberance, if you will. And crashing and what have you. We're down a Nef at the moment. It seems that for whatever reason, we just couldn't get poor Nef online at the moment. We're going to keep the lines open in case she decides to join us later in the evening. But for now, it's just a cozy little conversation between Vector and Dregn. How you doing, Zero? Thanks for tuning in tonight. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Just good old fashioned guy talk up in here.
There we go.
No girls allowed. You know what? We don't even need Nef. I don't even know if we want her on the show at this point. You know what? You're going to be late for the Vector Spaceman Show. You're not going to be on the Vector Spaceman Show. It's that easy. It's that easy,
more
Dregn.
Popcorn for us.
More popcorn for us. That's right. We're raiding the fridges. We're checking out the pantries. We're doing it all here tonight.
Yeah, with the extra chair, I can put my feet up and everything.
You can put your feet up. Yeah, your little dangly feet up. And just relax. Max and relax, as it were.
There we go. We chillaxing
up in here. Dregn, it's been a few weeks since we've seen you on the show. It's been a while since I think we've seen much of anything out of you, but it was nice. It was nice to get to catch you and Nef last night on your latest installment of the Nef Quest, still making your way through V Rising. Always fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. I felt a little bruised after, but it's the common V Rising run around. And God, I don't know what it is about that game. I cannot wrap my head around it sometimes.
But during which? Because I was tuned in, as you know, chit-chatting as we do. It almost sounded like Dregn had forgotten that he was supposed to be on the show tonight. So I'm glad that we tuned in to remind him that we managed to get half the cast here at least. Well, always a pleasure, though, of course. It's different now? How so?
On our end. Yeah, we don't stream it on our end, right? So I was doing I was getting my announcements ready on the YouTubes, and I'm like, okay, there's Tuesday, there's Thursday, there's Friday. I swear I had something on Wednesday. What was it? I'll just put this out here for now.
What could it be?
What could it be?
Surely nothing important. Otherwise, you would have remembered it.
Definitely not. Yeah, I'd be there if it was important.
Not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a pleasure to have you here. What's new, Dregn, since we haven't seen you in so long?
Pleasure as always. But yeah, it's we've been kind of floating out there in the deep dark space on our own right now as we work on this little project, little tabletop RPG called Dungeon Core 20. So I'm probably reclusing myself a little too much with it, but it's constant just brainstorming, rewriting, setting up mechanics, try to make sure that we're ready for
that. Yes.
Yeah, we got our first little offline playtest. Yeah.
Coming up next week, is that not right?
Correct. Yeah, so next weekend we'll be doing a little offline playtest, and then depending on what kind of feedback we get from that, we'll make the necessary adjustments. And then, as much as I wanted to just put it out there at the end of February, I also got sick for like an entire week and a half, so that pushed things back. Yeah,
that's rough.
But at this point, no, I think, since we got the playtest lined up, we'll do that. I'm probably going to be trying to get a couple playtests going between now and maybe the next month or two. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, once the foundation is good, I'm going to put it out there and try growing it. And probably moving forward, if I do any sort of tabletop RPG, right? Because on our channel, we had done D&D 5e that was reflavored for sci-fi called Horizon Exploration. But I'll probably try to continue to build out this Dungeon Core 20 system and probably do some play tests on my own whenever I run games. So that should be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We're very excited for that. Can't wait to get into it next week. Our first little look at that. Let's take a moment here, Dregn, and welcome to the show. It's the Nova Swarm, by whom I suppose is Ellie. Big shout out, certifying Space Ace, re-upping on that membership. Thank you so much, Ellie. So nice to see you guys. Hope you're having a great Wednesday evening. Welcome to the show. We've got Dregn with us and potentially Nef, if she wants to fill that seat. But you know what? We don't. We'll take anybody at this point. Anybody who wants to come on the show, you just let us know. We'll fill the extra seat.
Well, Vector, we got to talk about the call-in line.
The call-in line. You're right, Dregn.
Yeah,
boy, we haven't got to activate this in a while. Check it out, you guys. If you type in !Discord, you'll actually get a link to the space line where you can call in to have your questions and voices heard about, well, any old topic, really. Super convenient. I think we've gotten it working like once in the past. It's kind of been a hit or miss, but we know that it does function occasionally when it's supposed to. So, that's great. Hope you two have a good time. Got some work to do. Well, thanks so much, Ellie. Thank you so much. I hope we have a good time as well. And best of luck with your work. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Vector, was the join the Discord, was that always on screen? Or was that popped in?
I just turned it on because we can flip it on and off when we don't want people joining that. We can flip it back on if we want people to join. So, it's just there for a reminder.
Fancy.
So fancy, though. So fancy.
Look at that. Everything's clean with its scribbled
all the
edges.
Utility around here. That's what you get. That's the benefit of doing everything yourself.
Heck yeah. What about you, Vector? What have you been up to? I mean, obviously, we're on the Vector Spaceman show, so maybe that's a dumb question, but you've been on and off as well.
Well, we are on the Vector Spaceman show. You're right about that. But no, we actually took all of last week off just to do a little relaxing. Just take some time off. You gotta break up your schedule every now and then. But we are working on, I don't know if we've talked about this before, the script for the next Vector Spaceman animated special, which should be coming out this summertime. We're putting together drafts for that at the moment. We're going to be reaching out to participants, maybe getting some new participants into the mix as well. Some new actors, some new faces, some new friends for the show. That should be nice. But yeah, this is supposed to be going out this sort of mid-summer. So around, I'm targeting the early July is when we should get to see that on the big screen. And it should be a great time. We enjoy working with all the people that we have in the past. They're such talents. They're such great actors. They're such great personalities. It'll be nice to not only do another special, but do our first special on the big new fancy Vector Space PC that we've built ourselves. So we'll have lots of access to, fingers crossed, we'll have fewer crashes this time. We'll be able to put in more fanciful effects. It should be a real great show once we finally get it up and running.
40% less crashing.
100% less crashing.
100%. Oh, you're optimistic.
Wait, I was thinking 50%, which would still be like it's close to like 6 crashes or something like that.
Yeah.
After the Christmas one.
You'll have to let us know in the bloopers. Yeah, there we go.
In the blooper reel, exactly.
Yep. Just Vector staring at his monitor, being like, "Come on, Renner, you can do it.
Work." I know you can do it.
You just gotta smack the PC on the side a couple times. So good as new.
That good old-fashioned, physical hardware maintenance. That's how we used to do it. I actually had, in the day, like, you and I both remember tube TVs. I'm sure most of our audience does. But I actually remember that used to work sometimes. You smack it in just the right spot, and it stops being all fuzzy. I'm not sure why that was, whether it was an issue of... I don't know how those things work, those old monitors, really. Whether it was an issue of, like, a messed up, fuzzy... Because they like shoot photons in like lines. or something like that.
So what it is it's the pixels that are traveling through the tubes, right? Sometimes they get a little congested, so you smack it in the right spot, it loosens up the pixels, and then it's
that's what it is. Now that makes sense when you put it that way. You just got to give it a little jiggle. Shake those pixels out. That's it.
There we go.
So wise in the ways of science, Dregn Durant.
Right.
And Space Cadets, if you're not following Dregn Durant, make sure you do. We'll put a little shout out, a little collab shout out in the chat here. Check out Dregn, check out Nef, who may or may not be showing up later. The youth these days, Dregn, just cannot keep up with their commitments. Always lazing about, playing video games into the late night, sleeping through appointments. Goodness gracious.
Can't imagine. No way. Impossible. On the internet? Nah. Within VTubing? Nah, no way.
Couldn't be people like us, though.
Absolutely not. I can't believe it.
Absolutely not.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
It's actually funny you bring up the youth. I was talking, I think, Nef offline yesterday after our little V-Rising. Maybe it was online. I don't remember. I can't remember anything. But I came to this realization, which should have been obvious, but man, I'm surprised. Like on Twitter, there's a very clear separation of people who were born pre 2K and post 2K. it's actually a little staggering once I started connecting those dots. I was like, huh.
Well, I think it's a good delineating mark. 21st century.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, also with the way, I guess, generations work, right? There's usually like a 10-year gap here and there. So it's
well, sure, expected. But conceivably you could make that mark at like 95 to 2005 or something like that if you really want to.
Oh, absolutely.
But
100%. Yeah, no, that group's there too. But some of those are they're still on Facebook or something. Who knows?
So clearly you're incensed. Clearly you're mad at these youths. Is that what you're trying to get at? They've done something. They've wronged you.
Vector's going to be like, man, Dregn hates all youth.
Start instigating on the program.
There we go. Yeah, come at me, bro. Fight me. 1v1 me.
A race around the station. What do you say?
An observation. It was an interesting to see the, I guess, difference of how, what's the term? Their mannerisms, I guess, online. I started to notice a trend.
They've got no manners, is what you're saying.
Damn it, Vector. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Here we go.
Biting commentary from Dregn Durant.
It also has a little something to do with the fact that, I've been now in this social sphere for over a year, and I've noticed that, like, it's human, right, to adopt the mannerisms of the people that you hang out with. So I was like, man, am I fallen into a trap, or is this proper for me? So
you're saying it's infectious.
Yeah, I mean,
you're saying they're corrupting your manner of speaking.
That's Vector, the translation that you do. I don't even understand it. You should do it like an audiobook, but you just translate it your way instead of reading it proper.
You got to read between the lines in whatever way you think works best for whatever kind of point you're trying to get across. That's just interpretation 101, sir.
Exactly. No, but read a novel and just read it between the lines. Don't even read the words. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, you see what they're trying to say here. What they're trying to say. You're just not getting it.
Yeah. Blue cat, red cat, what?
It's called subtext, Dregn.
You would know.
Very, 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 very literary, very I lost the words. I can't remember what the word is.
See, it's
academic,
man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm losing it. Thanks so much.
They got him too. You're welcome, buddy.
Thanks for bringing your Trojan horse of brain worms onto the station
There
here
we
tonight.
go. Man, Trojan horse. Gen Z slander? No way.
Gen Z
Impossible.
slander,
Not me.
though. That's
Not us.
yeah. Why you slandering, Dregn? Why you slandering?
You know what's funny too is I love how boomer was like a slander insult / joke for a certain age group, and it's just in the past 4 years, maybe even less than that, maybe 2 years.
It seems like it's lost all meaning at this point.
Exactly right. Yeah, you get where I'm getting with this. It's like it's used to describe what is it? A personality, a mood. I don't know. And then what? Zoomer's another one that came out of it too, which cracks me up.
Well, now I think it's just anyone who is older or younger than yourself. If they're older than you, then that's boomer. If they're younger than you, then that's zoomer. And either one is, derogatory. It's just
Only
about
if
saying,
you make it.
you're either out of touch or you just don't get it, man. That sort of thing.
Exactly. But it's funny because Nef seems to know so much. And too bad she's not here so she can talk about how out of touch with pop culture I am. But then again, you know how out of touch I am with pop culture too. So.
Oh man, yeah, that's right. We tuned into the show last night, the Nef Quest last night.
Yeah.
You weren't getting any of our stellar quotes. Like, come on, man. Power of the sun in the palm of my hand, Dregn.
I know. I should know some of them too, but I just can't.
Spider-Man 2, Dregn.
I know. There's so many jokes that come out of Spider-Man 2, and I just don't, man.
Dr. Otto Octavius, Dregn.
Oh. Spider-Man 2 was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it.
Pretty sure they even referenced it in the latest one, the Far From Home.
Oh, did they? I wouldn't know.
Or No Way Home? Might have been No Way Home. I can't... they all got home in the title, and frankly, it's confusing, and it's not good when you're trying to remember things.
Yeah. Vector, speaking of movies, what's the last movie you saw? Because I know...
Oh, thank you for asking, Dregn. I love to recount this horrible recollection. The last film that I ever saw in theaters was Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And I would have seen that. I don't think I saw that opening day. Usually I used to go see Star Wars films opening day. I remember seeing Revenge of the Sith opening day. And that was like super hype because I got to leave school early and go catch a matinee for it, and it was super cool. And and it was great, and I enjoyed it. And we were like front row because the theater was all sold out. And but that was fine because the opening of that film is like a big like starfighter battle, so it felt really cool being right up in the front row when you see all the ships flying around and stuff. It was like being on a roller coaster. It was real cool, and that was great. And then I'm pretty sure I saw Episode 7 when it came out, opening day. And then after that, it just sort of petered off. I got less and less, invested in seeing it day of. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I know the feeling. I think was Rise of Skywalker. Was that the last one? That was 9, you said, right?
That's right. That was the last one, Dregn. Look at this mathematician over here.
God, I'm trying to think which one was the last one I saw in theaters. I think it was the one where Luke reappeared. Was that Episode 7 or 8?
Technically, that was Episode 7 because he shows up right before the credits hit you. But if you mean as a character, as a sort of like, personality, as a driving force of narrative, then that would be Episode 8.
Yeah, no, I think I saw him at the tail end. So yeah, the Episode 7 was the last one I think I saw in theaters, which I don't know. This was like just before, a year before COVID or something, right? So
no, as a matter of fact,
when
it was
2015. Was it 15? Dang. I'm flying.
And then 2017 was when Episode 8 came out, and then 2019 was when Episode 9 came out.
What is going on in your chat? What's happening?
Oh, we've got excellent questions here. Straight from Derringer. So this is for you, Dregn. Question for you. If you're so good at math, what is 2 plus 2? Rapid fire round.
Why 2 plus 2? it's
He's stalling. He's stalling.
No, that doesn't work. Someone threw an 8 times 6 at me yesterday. I'm decent at math. Get out of here. Don't judge.
All right, prove it. What's 8 times 6?
Shut up, Vector. It's 48.
All right, I don't have the tools to confirm that or deny that at the moment, but you still haven't answered
mean?
what's 2 plus 2, so get on it. 2 plus 2, Dragon Brown.
I said 4. Leave me alone.
All right, we're gonna have to go to the judges on that. You guys get back to us on whether or not that's correct, but
Vector,
we'll take his word for it at the moment.
Tables.
You got to hold our guests accountable, you guys. This is important.
Here, I'll teach you guys a fun little trick. Vector, do you know what 11 times 11 is?
I sure don't.
You sure don't? Okay, how about 111 times 111?
Oh, definitely not.
Definitely not? All right, well, it's easy. 11 times 11 is 121. 111 times 111 is 12321. See a pattern?
I'm starting to see a pattern. It's almost, what do you call it? Like a Fibonacci sort of thing.
Yeah, I get where you're going with that. And then 1,111 times the same should
times
be
11?
1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, they have to be the same values. So 11 times 11, 111 times 111, 1,111 times 1,111. It's incremental and then it decreases, right? So based on the number of ones. So
okay, so that is pretty cool.
Times it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 2, 1. So you're close, almost. But that's a little trick. If someone tries to be cute with you with math challenges, that's an easy one to throw out there.
That was actually very helpful. I probably won't forget that.
Yeah, it's a fun little math trick, but it's like when are you ever multiplying the same value of multiple of I don't even know, increments of one, whatever the heck it is.
To be fair, I don't think I multiply a whole lot of anything in my day-to-day life without using spreadsheets or something like that. I feel like we
phone calculator.
Yeah, we weren't really prepped for that in school.
Bot, get out of here! That hammer.
Yeah, we got that
quick.
bot. That's why I switched over to Dregn real quick, so I can focus on that.
Yeah,
sneaking
Vector.
around here.
What does Vector pull out? Do you have a band hammer or do you got a band phaser? What is it?
I've got a very convenient little button that I press, and then it just goes away. So that's very nice.
It's a big red button. Get the hell.
Technically, we don't have any like secondary mods or anything that help moderate the channel or anything like that. So we got to do everything ourselves here. So sometimes that means throwing the camera over at Dregn while we deal with rabble rousers.
Throwing camera. At least I have hands. I can catch the camera.
You can catch these hands.
Yeah.
You can throw these hands.
Oh, we sure can. Yeah, don't tempt me.
Derringer saying I'm a chemist, not a math wizard, or whatever math people are called. No, math wizard. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the class distinction, is it not? Math wizards.
I think it is.
Math sorcerers. Math bards. I mean, there's a whole gamut of math-based classification.
Yeah, they say math is the language of the universe. So does that make a math wizard a physicist?
Technically, I guess. Yeah. Physics is would be more like that. A lot of math and physics.
There's so much math and physics. There's a lot
much
of
math and physics, though.
It's actually a funny. God, what was it? Was it the alphabet? Yeah, I think it was the alphabet. Did you know there's a mathematical formula for the alphabet?
A mathematical formula for the alphabet?
Yeah. So what is it? Gosh, maybe I have to write it down to try to remember the way it works. So, they say the number of what was the term? The numbers that exist in the universe are 1 through 9, right? There's no 0, there's no 10. Anything 10 and higher is a man-made concept, is the theory around it, right? So if we take just the integers 1 through 9, and if we look at the alphabet, actually here, I'll open up maybe a notepad for this. So A, I think, is 1, right? And then
A is 1?
Yeah, A is 1, B is 2. Gosh, I wish I had an easier way to type out every single letter. But I'm trying to get to the value where it exceeds 9. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Where is 10? Which one was 10?
Excuse Dregn for a moment while he counts on his fingers.
I know, right? Okay, so J is 10, right? But if you take 1 and then you separate it, so J is actually a 1 plus 0, which is a 1. And K would be like a 1 plus 1, which is a 2. So K is where 11 would be if you were to add them up that way. Yeah, thank you guys and shit. But the whole concept here is that if you continue this all the way to Z and you separate the integer after 10, so it would be 1 plus 0, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2 for 12, and so on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. They all value up to 1 through 9. So if you ever try to do math that way, and there's actually a term for that type of calculation. I forget what the term is because it's such like an archaic way of doing math. It was something done, I think, back in like Plato's day. So
before it was 10.
Before they invented 10, before they invented our alphabet and all that fun stuff. But yeah, math has or not math. Alphabet,
all right, but notably also before they invented the modern alphabet. So I'm not. Is that true?
No. So the creation of our alphabet has a basis in numbers. Is the point that I'm trying to make. So,
in Greek, maybe. I mean,
yeah, but
that might be a more accurate thing to say.
The 26 characters. Maybe.
This
I'll try
almost
to
just sounds like a way more complex version of like the hexadecimal. Is that what it's trying to get? Like where you get 1 through 9 and then 10 is
it's similar concept.
Like but backwards, it almost sounds like.
Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of. I'm trying to remember the name of the of the math process. And
we'll give him a second to think on it. Hello, Manu. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Nice to see a turtle up in here. Yes, indeed. We've got Dregn in the studio and a little empty spot who we might be filling with another guest later on this evening, depending on whether or not they wake up. We will see.
We will see.
We're going to give Dregn a moment to think about his mathleticism here. As we go to a short ad break, a short unskippable ad break. We will see you guys in about a minute. Stay tuned for some more Vector Spaceman Show with special guest Dregn. We'll be right back after this. Wow, it's us again. We're back. Hope you guys enjoyed those lovely unskippable Twitch ads. Thanks for suffering through those for our sake. Dregn, welcome back to the show.
Hey, I'm back.
It's the second hour of the Vector Spaceman Show. So glad to have you here.
Yeah, about the math thing. If I ever find
still on that math thing. Okay, tell us about it.
Maybe we'll bring it up. No. I can't seem to find it, but I will find it. I'll put it out there somewhere eventually.
All right, we'll hold you to it.
Yeah, hold me to it. Got to get educated. The weird, interesting, random things that we've all but forgotten.
I almost missed Ellie's little comment here. Speaking of which, Vector, we got to plan a sequel slander night. I would love to do that. A little Star Wars sequel slander. We'd love to do that. Maybe it'd be nice to have Dregn there as well, because apparently he hasn't seen the latest ones.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Well, what's that all about?
What is it all about? Well, they just release more films, and they get progressively worse. And why not take some time to enjoy it and slander them together?
Nice. Actually, speaking of making new sequels and they get progressively worse, have you heard that Lord of the Rings is up for grabs for the, I guess the term I've seen on the internet is the quote-unquote Star Wars treatment?
Up for grabs might not be the best term, and Star Wars treatment might be a little misattributed, but I think I do know what you're talking about, that there's been talk about developing additional films, whether prequels or remakes. They're not quite clear as to what it is exactly, but yes, I definitely have heard about that. I'd be cautious about approaching something like that. I wasn't a huge fan of the Hobbit films. I thought it was a little much, sort of dragged on. You didn't really need 3 films for that, I figured. But, it's just hard to compete with those original 3 films. That's the problem. It's like you set such a high watermark for yourself. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, they'd have to have some really good writing to I guess, meet our expectations after the extended editions, right?
Well, there's the thing, is that you won't have good writing because the author's dead. This is the problem that you run into.
You just won't. Dang.
There's a big difference between adapting source material, great source material, and having to come up with that stuff on your own. I think it's part of the reason why, that they recently did that Lord of the Rings TV series, Rings of Power, which is rooted in a lot of the additional writing that's behind the Lord of the Rings series. But, it's not an adaptation of books in the same way that the original trilogy of films was. So writers have to fill in a lot of their own stuff. And, yeah, clearly it's just not as good and not as well received as the original content. So it suffers for that. I feel like if you're going to do films, it's probably going to run into the same issue. Unless you get, like, some real Tolkien scholars or something like that to work on it. People and there are people like this, people whose whole careers and whole academic progression has been rooted in studying these works and analyzing these works. You got to get some real hardcore mega fans involved, essentially.
Yep, basically. But even then, some of you guys out there know that I'm and more on the advocate side of like AI stuff, but part of me worries with just the decline in the quality of writing with the current films and shows that are out there. You get a few, diamonds in the rough, right, that turn out to be better than people were expecting. But I think the general consensus would agree that overall quality for writing has kind of declined. But with the AI stuff coming out and people leaning into AI to do a lot of the typewriting and all that kind of stuff, I do worry that the ability for folks to be creative is going to continue to diminish a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
I think it's a fair concern.
Yeah.
Hello, Kieran, and hello, Rig. I am sorry that your little redeems weren't working there. I can give you some free ones. How's about that? A little clap for Rig, or for a little clap for Derringer there, and a little cheer for Kieran. Thank you guys so much. There we go. Look at that, Dragon. People are so glad to see you here on the show.
Look at that. Yeah, claps and cheers. Man, Kieran, you're still floating, playing that game? You redeeming with your weekly budget?
He's got to keep those coins low, exactly. Kieran, of course, congratulations. A brand new uncle. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Congrats.
And Riggin here, clearly Tolkien, hard to measure up to or emulate accurately. It does seem that way. It's hard to measure up to, the greats.
Yeah, actually, working on this tabletop RPG system, it actually got me thinking about how, Tolkien was super instrumental in kind of defining the fantasy genre, right? Like so much has been
not him necessarily, but people draw from him.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Like it's
yeah.
Historically, or not, what's the word? Like historically, it's there is a trend of inspiration that is drawn from like his depictions of dwarves and elves and all sorts of that kind of stuff, right?
True, which are themselves rooted in different northern European culture, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And then on the flip side, right, back to tabletop RPG, like I'm blown away just how monopolist the D&D franchise has turned out to be, because playing it, I didn't really give it much thought, but now that I'm making this system, I'm like, okay, it has to be something unique or something different, right? It can't just be a rehash of building on top of D&D. Otherwise, it's just like a homebrew environment or homebrew system, or an expanded system, much like Pathfinder branched off from D&D.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. No, there's a lot of fun, creative, ways of approaching that, and they're very enjoyable. But how much of that umbrella kind of filters back down to the core coming from the original like D&D system, right? It's actually staggering how much reference boils back down to, oh, this was inspired by D&D in some form or another, right? You don't really hear too much. At least I haven't really seen too much that have been just completely out of left field. There are other systems out there, but none that have, I suppose, the reach and awareness that D&D has garnered over the years. It's pretty.
No, it's kind of like the OG fantasy system, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It's got that market share. It capitalizes. Yeah, it's got, as you say, like the growth, the gross almost monopoly over tabletop gaming in that respect. See,
100%.
I've always been a fan. When you talk about trying to make yours stand out, sort of thing, I've always been a fan of systems where, I guess, the setting itself is sort of tied into the mechanics of gameplay. There are certain systems which do that in fun ways, where it can be a choice of the type of dice you use and how maybe it relates to some sort of in-game significance or something like that, or the different ways that stats are set up, things like that. Even if it's something little, I always like systems that, try to justify their mechanics by tying it to something about the game itself.
Very vague, but I think I grasp a couple pieces of that. Sure.
Well, I can give you an example, for example. So, the Legend of the Five Rings RPG. Have you ever heard of that one?
I have heard of it. Haven't played it.
So that one is sort of a Pan-Asian samurai-inspired RPG game. Actually, I believe it started as a card game. A card game which featured sort of the precursor to what we'd consider a living card game these days, where, events which take place, like tournaments, things like that, actually have an impact on the in-game sort of lore. So between the release of, new card sets, things like that, you'd have tournaments, you'd have, winners of competitions and things like that. And these winners would get to decide certain pivotal decisions within the actual narrative of the game, which was expressed through like novels and tie-in products and things like that, which was really cool. And this is all something that happened. When did it have its initial run? It was like around the same time that early Magic the Gathering was popular.
Now, how is that different just from having a good GM that says, hey, like your actions have not just like individual benefits or challenges, but depending on, say, like the tier that you're playing at, maybe your character is quite powerful or has some renown, and an action that they take might affect the direction of like a local town, for example.
Oh,
like,
well, sorry. That wasn't necessarily related to the point I was trying to make. I was just trying to give some background on the property itself. Yeah, so this was a game that got started as this card game, which did really cool sort of, I guess, meta-narrative tie-ins.
Sure.
They also released a series of role-playing game supplements, which I believe started as tie-in products for Dungeons and Dragons, maybe in 3rd edition or something like that.
Okay.
But it eventually spread out into its own system.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I just found that the way that they, just down to the way that they set up their character sheets, for example, you have all these, so it's like an elemental-based magic system, like fire, water, air, earth, void, that sort of thing. So these are what you consider your 5 rings, and then they try to tie these different elements into, being representative of your I guess your character attributes, things like strength and agility and things like that. So each sort of has a corresponding attribute. And so just examples where you see game narrative meshing with game mechanic, meshing with, tying it all together to make something that, tries to justify why it's different from something like, say, the 6 attribute system of Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. I always appreciate finding stuff like that. That was the point that I was trying to make. So that's an example of where I see stuff like that and I think, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so what that kind of reminds me of, there's definitely some kind of an overlap between board games and these TTRPG systems, because I mean they're basically synonymous, right? And to some degree, but I've noticed, like,
I would say so. There's a lot of war game influence that shows up in a lot of RPG games. Yes,
but I did notice when I was in my little board game phase, because I went through one, collector mentality took over, and one of the board game types I really enjoyed were ones that had a sense of like role playability to it. So there's some that were it may as well have been a TTRPG type of a system, but it was all grounded in like board game mechanics. So I don't know, mechanics, interesting, fascinating stuff.
I like that. I like any game where there's an element of personal expression in your gameplay. And I could bring that back to card games again, as Derringer's going off here. Magic the Gathering, for example. So like the conceit of Magic the Gathering was always that you, as the players, are supposed to be these, planeswalking sorcerers of sorts, and the cards that you're playing are, summoning creatures and artifacts and things like that. Years later, they would introduce planeswalker cards, and I always thought I always thought that sort of cheapened the narrative. That sort of damaged it, because you're supposed to be the super cool wizard in this case, the planeswalker, as it were. So why are you calling on these other guys? That didn't seem to jive with me.
Might have been okay if they kind of treated them like companion cards, like NPCs, like people that are part of your team, which might have been the idea, but no, they were trying to capitalize. Kind of
like NPCs, yeah, but they're also the heavily juiced, the heavily marketed, like these uber wizards that show up in all this promotional material because they're trying to sell, comics and books and this and that, merchandising, Dregn, merchandising.
Exactly. It's why every new series of Pokemon has to have something new species and everything too. They gotta market the new.
Some gimmick.
Yep. Something different to be like, it's totally not the same thing, just rehash. What do you mean? No, totally unique.
Well, that's just selling mons. I think that's a little different from, eroding the fiction of your game.
Think about the card game, right? Because all the Pokemon card games that I've seen in stores and such, they got those special sets that has like the shiny legendary that's guaranteed in the pack, that they're new ones for every season. That's what I was kind of getting at. But
okay, well that's just for collectors. That's a whole different ball game. But
I
Derringer making an excellent point here. Urza's pretty cool. I could never be as cool as Urza, but you should be, Derringer. You should be. That's the lie that Magic is trying to sell you, that you could be a super cool wizard. But it might not be true, but you want to feel that way. And how are you going to feel that way if they're giving you super cool wizard cards that are way better than you could ever be? Like, what's the deal? No, man?
Come on. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Come on, just do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Be a wizard. You're a super cool wizard, Vector. Oh, thanks, Derringer. You know what? You're a super cool wizard, too. Dregn, you're a super cool wizard, even. Yeah, everybody's a wizard tonight. Oh, he's such a wizard, he just disappeared. Hold on. We gotta try and get him back.
How did that happen? Why did that happen?
It's that California web. Let's see. Let's try to refresh him here. We'll get him back. Don't you guys worry. Don't you worry. We're on the case. Bada bing, bada bam. There we go.
I know you upgraded your PC, but you got to get these hologram projectors upgraded. They're
he's a little fuzzy, but he's back. There we go.
I'm a little fuzzy wuzzy Dregn. Hey guys.
There he goes. Yeah, good thing though. We haven't had any colossal technical failures tonight. I made sure to reset the computer before we got started tonight. Because I remember last time we had you and Nef on, we had like 3 or 4 like USB failures that either shut off the webcam, so I couldn't track myself, or it shut off the microphone, so everything sounded weird, or I couldn't hear myself. And we got that for the most part all sorted out, it seems, which is great.
Did you ever figure out what was causing that?
I have read a number of accounts of people having problems with this generation of motherboard. And sometimes specifically my brand of motherboard, where it will, on occasion, power down USB ports. And
weird.
Whether or not this is an issue related to C states, like where it's just trying to power down to conserve power,
Right.
or if there's actually some sort of issue with them. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to really mess around with modifying the C
BIOS?
states in the BIOS because I'm not 110% sure what's going to happen if I start doing that. Because here's the thing, if I start disabling C states, then basically the CPU is going to get power 100% of the time, which maybe isn't the worst thing in the world, but might impact its lifespan in the long run. Yeah. So
Man,
what I
do you
do
remember the
know
days-
is that as long as I restart the computer, which is pretty quick now because we got that fancy new SSD drive.
Yeah,
As long as I
you've been
do a
living in the past.
restart right before we start streaming, it doesn't seem like we ever have any issues. So that's great.
Okay. Did you ever enable the high performance, high power mode or whatever on the Windows side at least?
I did do that as well. Told them not to shut off any external devices. So that could be contributing to it as well. I think I've only had maybe one instance of it shutting down on me since we talked about that, which makes me think that doing the fresh restart before streaming is probably like the surefire like backup best practice for right now.
Yeah. If it works, it works.
If it works, it works. And it seems to work.
My favorite thing about buying new gadgets and tech is doing all that research at the beginning to make sure it's going to be what you're expecting, and then you get it, and then like within the first 2 weeks, it's when you start figuring out like something's not right here. What's wrong with this? And then
I did so much research, and then I became that guy who I'm like talking to all my friends. I'm like, it's so easy to put together your own computer. You guys, you should totally. I recommend it to everybody. It's so much cheaper than buying a pre-built one. They should though. Yeah, you guys, you definitely should. It's not as hard as it seems. You get to make all the super cool decisions and like design it exactly how you like. It's great. It's great.
But
I heartily recommend.
But there's a learning curve there, and sometimes you learn things
but
after
then you'll
the
be
fact.
smarter. You'll be so much smarter though.
Yeah, it's a good time. I definitely would recommend anyone who's online a lot and likes tech to build your own computer. It's worth it.
Become tech savvy, you guys.
You don't even have to be tech savvy. Heck, they have all these YouTube videos. You can watch a 10-minute video and your PC's already put together. It's that easy.
It might not be that easy, but it approaches that ease of access, yes.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, could you imagine watching a video and just like the Matrix, it just uploads into your mind?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Would that be a good thing?
No, I know how people feel about things uploading into your brain.
Yeah, because let's listen. You start off like, oh, I'm going to learn how to do kung fu in 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
That seems great. But then you just start scrolling, and then you're watching cat videos, and then suddenly you've got a craving for mice, and you don't know how any of it works. Exactly. Yeah. On the inside.
You'll be karate chopping mice and eating them before you know it, guys.
Mice.
Man, the future, it's so exciting.
This isn't the future you guys knew you wanted, but it's the one you're getting.
Yeah, it may as well be.
5-minute kung fu, exactly, Derringer. Would you stop
5-minute crafts?
phasing out Dregn? Jeez Louise.
I can't help it, man. You just gotta make me a blue glow. I'll be your Obi-Wan.
California Wizards. Jeez Louise. Let's refresh him again.
Ah, man, why?
Oh, wow, he's back.
You know, let me. I don't think it affects anything because I don't have downloads enabled.
No, should be fine. We got questions from the chat, Dregn. Important topics of conversation. Best frozen chicken nugget brand. Go.
The non-frozen ones.
Not a compatible answer, sir. Best chicken nugget brand, frozen. Go.
I didn't even know chicken nuggets had brands. I go with just making my own karaage instead of chicken nuggets. So
I'll be honest, I probably don't know any brands off the top of my head either. But yeah, they must come in brands.
Also, I actually the only frozen foods I ever buy are frozen veggies. I don't think, and maybe lasagna. I used to buy lasagna, but outside of that, no. I actually don't eat frozen foods almost ever unless I'm eating out. Because
I might
we
get
all
like
know
a
restaurants have
flatbread frozen pizza or something like that. That's about it.
Okay. God,
Yeah.
I want to try making. Have you ever made a pizza?
I have made a pizza. Making pizza's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard
But making pizza takes some time. So sometimes you just want to put a nice little pizza in the oven.
True. That is true.
That is true. Man, Derringer knows all the brands. Encore, Nature Farmer. Encore.
I mean, well, if you're born after
Tyson.
2000, you don't know how to cook anyways, right? So.
Oh, another generational jab by Dregn Durant.
I can't help it. It's funny, man.
20th century
how to
man,
cook.
Dregn Durant. Teeny's
Who's
up in
younger
here.
than
Nice to
30
see you,
knows how to
Teeny. Happy Wednesday evening. Happy March. Our first stream of March, Dregn. I just thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness gracious, a brand new month. Good to see
Look
you.
at
Hope
that.
you're having a fine evening. We've got Dregn in the studio tonight. We're chatting about this and that. Things, stuff, junk, nonsense.
Yeah, nonsense. We're letting our minds go wild tonight.
Mm-hmm. You sound like you were about to ask something very poignant and important, Dregn. Go ahead.
You assume I remember. It's actually really sad because my childhood friend, he's known me since we were, God, in our single digits. I forget how old we were. But
Nice.
it's at a point where it's like, if we text each other and I forget to text back because I'll look at it and I'll forget that I didn't send. And I'll reply to him like a month later. It's like, dude, I know. It's just the way you are. It's like, oh, thanks, buddy. You're my last hope out here.
What's your oldest friend that you've got, Dregn? Because I'm kind of in the same boat. My closest friends that I still see to this day, that we still get together. A few of them have moved a little further away, so we got to drive out and meet with them, but we still meet up a few times a year, that sort of thing.
Nice. Fun.
Are folks that I met in the 3rd grade, so I would have been like 7 or 8 or something like that at the time.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I guess I was fortunate enough to have met a very good friend in 3rd grade, but he's kind of the one that I guess I would consider best friend without question, and he helped me out many years back too. So I don't think I've ever really said it to his face, but I consider him like a brother from another mother, as the phrase goes.
Friendship.
Yeah. But gosh, high school was interesting because high school, it's like I had friends, but I don't know. My logic around friendship is interesting because I know it's natural. It's natural logically to draw a line between like friends and acquaintances, right? But friends get used pretty loosely. So I don't know. My brain back then didn't really think deeply into it, but I didn't really stay in touch with anybody until college, where I met probably where my largest friend circle exists, right? So no, I'm one of those guys who probably will keep like his circle, quote unquote, to like a dozen people at most, if not less. So outside of that, yeah, it's just the one childhood friend from way back when, and the rest of them are from college, a couple from work, and then a bunch of dorks who stream on the internet sometimes.
Dorks.
Yep. But yeah,
That's cool. I think I remember reading something about how like humans, and you probably heard this little factoid too, about how humans can only like keep constant contact with like 150 people at most, or something like that, effectively.
I don't even know if that was a constant contact deal. I think that was just a matter of like staying in touch in general.
Even just distantly then.
Yeah, like just being even like aware where there is a bond of some sort.
But I remember that getting passed around a lot, like just as like that little factoid, just as like Facebook was popping off and social media and things like that, and sort of calls into question like how many people, if you've got like thousands of contacts and followers and things like that, how many can you really keep up with, that sort of thing. Oh, exactly. Nora knows what I'm talking about. Max friend group number. There you go. And it's probably got to be different between person to person. That 150 is probably just an average.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, and I think both of you guys in chat in particular are saying the same deal. Yeah, that's about right. I think. I mean, it goes back to the tribal days, right? Where it's like, hey, you wouldn't
caveman days.
Not even caveman days, but yeah. Like now with the internet, man, it's this maybe circles back a little bit to what I was saying earlier about how like just noticing the different generations that are on Twitter, for example, like, or not even on Twitter, just interacting with people who are of a generation below me. It's they interface with the internet differently than I or the people my age do.
I've heard about this happening because kids these days basically have never not known screens and interactivity and connectivity and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because you and I were in that rare, small, funny circle of that generation that kind of saw the internet come to be and saw, I guess we didn't see depending on, how old in the 30s you are, you either saw even the television come to be, right? But people who are like, I think 2K and later in particular, like their entire lifestyle has involved a screen of some sort. So like
listen, I mean, my grandparents lived to see the rise of the internet. They just didn't get interested in it. So that could include a whole lot of people when you think about it.
That is true, but I'm focusing on like the 20, 30, maybe early 40 range because like our parents' generations, like they knew the age where people actually were outside all the fucking time, right? And then like our grandparents, like they don't even care about tech because like it's just not in their like psyche or their I don't know. Like consider
too busy
the way
playing golf.
Yeah, maybe that too. Yeah,
playing
golf,
around.
Playing card games. Yeah, they're playing.
Playing bridge.
Some rummy cub bridge. Yeah, you know exactly what it is.
We're taking the Carnival cruise next year. Gonna play some shuffleboard.
But it's fascinating to me just how, I guess, man, thinking about like the tribal nature, right? How people make connections, and then that generation that has who I feel like they are, I don't want to really generalize this too much, but it's like in some cases, some of them don't even make like physical to physical relationships. Like all of their relationships are forged through the internet, which is kind of, I can understand it, but it's kind of mind blowing to me because it's so rare for me to like make a friendship online. It actually has to, occur over the span of several years for it to solidify.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But I feel there is definitely a group that like they will do it in weeks. It's just a different way of, I guess, processing that emotion and feeling and thought process. So I don't know. It's fascinating to me. Lies, everyone online is your friend. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? I wish everyone offline was my friend, but gosh, that's easier said than done too.
Kieran says you just need to give him your personal info. That's right. Identifying information, date of birth, social insurance number, all that sort of stuff.
Man, that's when scammers start taking it to the next level. Hey, if you send me your credit card number, I'll be your friend forever.
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 Until you run out of credit.
Yeah, there you go. Then you're not worth anything.
The 3 wacky numbers on your credit card.
Whoa, what do they mean?
Though, you know what? I'm sure if you were to post some sort of dumb, like, you ever see those, like, those posts on Twitter and Facebook and things like that, where it's like, the first letter of your first name and the month you were born, and it's got lists of what it corresponds to, that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's tied in like pulp culture stuff, like Harry Potter stuff or I know
it's
like
what you're talking about.
astrology type stuff, right? Where you take something that you're not giving out that information, but you'll see people posting replies with what they got on like those charts. If you were to do something similar with like what your social security number says about you or something like that, and tie it into goofy stuff like that, I guarantee you there's people who would dox themselves not knowing what they're doing.
Probably 100%. I guarantee it. Heck, I mean, it's getting doxed on the internet so easy. anyone out there knows anything about phishing. I'm sure that's a...
Don't do it, you guys. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay vigilant.
The internet's a dangerous place, but not if you have NordVPN. No.
A hive of scum and villainy. You gotta watch out.
On the same token with those, hey, take your first initial, last initial, or birth month or whatever. Have you ever heard the one about your porn star name?
Maybe. Refresh us.
All right. Have you had a pet in your life, Vector?
Have I had a pet in my life? I have had like a family pet, yeah.
Okay, so the one I know involves using the first name of your pet and then the first part of any sort of like your first street address. So mine,
stuff like that.
This shouldn't dox me. I think it'd be pretty impossible, but mine would actually turn out to be.
Get on it, you guys. Go for it. It would turn into what? Sorry,
Duke Meadow Point.
Duke Meadow Point.
Duke Meadow Point.
That's kind of a hard name.
That was funny. Yeah, right.
That one's not bad.
Yeah. What do you guys got? Yeah, you wish. Try.
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
Man, Neff yesterday was
stain from sharing that.
Oh yeah, come on, Panda Hunter. No way.
Panda Hunter, that's right. Yeah, Kieran's dog Panda.
Is your wife Asian?
Is his wife Asian? Kieran, I think there's impediments to that.
Oh, so good. Vector cut out. I can't hear him. What happened?
Oh, it looks like we might have had a little hiccup on the stream. We're back though.
Did Vector cut out?
I don't.
What's going on?
Can Dregn not hear us? Chat, can you hear us? Are we live? Is this real?
I can't hear Vector anymore, guys. Vector, if you can hear me, I can't hear you.
All right, let me. I can hear you both, says Derringer.
Oh,
all right. Let's.
So Vector,
it's probably
your Discord has
a Discord issue. Let me do something real quick here.
Test.
How about now?
Vector, you try reconnecting.
All right, I'll try reconnecting.
Oh.
How about now?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
There we go. Jeez Louise, troubleshooting over here. Geniuses.
Bill Kilgore, what a name.
That's a heck of a name. Bill Kilgore.
Dang. It's, I'd be avoiding you for a few blocks.
You take the long way home.
Right? Exactly. I'll go down the dark alley.
Mm-hmm. Just to avoid whatever Bill Kilgore's got in store.
Right? Oh boy.
You know, I think Anar made an excellent point in that internet savvy discussion. It's also the don't talk about IRL stuff online and how that's become not as much of a thing over time. That's definitely something that was pushed heavily when I was growing up with the early internet, which was don't talk about, never tell anybody your name, don't talk about where you're from, don't talk to strangers on the internet, don't give any personal information out. And I feel like, do you remember like old commercials for like websites? Anything targeted towards kids, it'd always be like, ask your parents before going online, that sort of thing. Like they were very conscious about how the internet was a dangerous place.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know about it real well because my sister actually got in trouble back in the day for chatting with someone who was much older than her. Yeah. Uh-oh. But nowadays, man, parents are not a part of the equation at all, are they? Or at least they are. It feels like an anomaly almost.
Now it's like, hey kids, you got phones, download TikTok right now.
Yeah, but the other problem of why I think it always matters, but it doesn't matter as much these days because the companies that we interact with online, their security is oftentimes pretty trash. So if somebody really wanted to find out about you, they could. And a sad little fun fact is like the cost of your identity on the black market, it's like less than $1. It's
what a truly terrifying realization.
Yeah. Someone come and steal your kid. Man, that hasn't been a joke in a long while, I feel.
Yeah, you never hear about people stealing kidneys no more. What's the matter with
time where that was always Yeah, that was always the thing. It's like, oh, you better watch out. You're gonna get, kidnapped, and you're gonna be, wake up one day with your kidney missing. And no one talks about missing kidneys anymore. I guess we got people for that now.
I guess they've streamlined the process. Now people just sell a kidney to make a quick buck. They'll do it themselves.
Right?
It's that desperation.
I mean, folks will put in like reviews. Have you seen those? Like, hey, fill out this questionnaire and we'll give you a $5 gift certificate. Have you seen those?
I'm sure I've seen those, stuff like that. Yeah. I remember back in university, they always used to give out gift cards and stuff like that if you'd participate in like the psychology department, like experiments and things like that. So I remember doing a few of those.
Interesting. Okay. No, I'm thinking something even lower IQ than that. More just like talking about like brand clothing styles and colors or food.
Oh, okay. Reviews. Yeah. Doing like customer survey stuff.
Yeah. Marketing type shit. Yeah.
Gotcha. Too much stock, not buyer. Kidney prices on the drop. It's getting hard out here to sell a kidney. To sell and buy a kidney, you guys. Jeez.
Right. God,
this economy, honestly.
It's the worst.
Ravaging the secondary organ market. Jeez.
Wait until they have the mail orders, or you can just like get an envelope. They'll ship you an envelope.
Just send away for extra body parts?
Yeah. There you go. It's not even cooled.
You know what? You never know. Did you ever see any of those like documentaries, like Vice documentaries or anything like that on the, what was it? Like the Silk Road, like dark web, like drug trade and that sort of thing?
All the traffic. Yeah, I've seen a few of them here and there.
Yeah. Like back in the day, I think they've cracked down on it. It could still be up and running. Who knows? But I remember that you used to be able to like use Bitcoin and stuff like that to buy, all sorts of illicit product on the internet through these shady, like deep web websites and that sort of thing. But what it seemed like through all these documentaries that I'd see about it, like the people who get caught and recount their experiences and stuff like that, is that for the most part, is that all the like sellers were completely on the up and up. They were like perfect customer service, like they'd always get you what you ordered, like when you need it, all that sort of stuff. Like it was never it seemed like there was never any fly-by-night deep web
there was
exchanges.
A certain like
nobody just took your money. You always got what you ordered. Eventually
there's a funny degree of integrity, right?
Yeah, they had integrity. They had these were like 5-star rated Better Business Bureau drug dealers and stuff. Professionals have standards, exactly.
Right? Yeah. I wish that was commonplace in the current business world. But
why can't we get that in just day-to-day transactions? Come on, I gotta go to criminals for this level of service.
Vector, I feel like you might have in your noggin a similar video in mind, but I want to say it was from like the Joe Rogan show. But there was this one guy, the Jogan show, yeah. But there was this dude that was talking about how he bought cocaine on on Silk Road or wherever, all in the black market, and he's like, yeah, the dude got arrested, and a month later, some dude knocks on my door, passes me a package, and it was the coke. The dude's in jail, but they still managed to deliver it. I'm just like, that's incredible, man.
See, they keep that order ready for you, so when you get out, you're good to go.
Right? He was just the fall guy. Who knows?
No, I remember it was like some sort of story out of. It had to be somewhere in Europe because they had goofy mailboxes. I feel like it might have been Germany or something like that. But they were using, apparently, they've got like a whole system of, and maybe they've got these in the States as well. You don't see them a whole lot here in Canada. Is these like rentable post
like PO boxes and such.
Yeah, but not quite a PO box. It's just like you can use it like one time. You just tell somebody to send it to it, and there's some sort of like app activity or something like that where it tells you it's arrived at this place. It's some sort of government run thing. It seemed really cool, and I thought, hey, why don't we have stuff like that? We don't have to use it for drugs. We could use it for mail and packages. But why don't we have stuff like that?
Just slip it right in there. Yeah, we could use it for drugs and mail and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, great.
so much utility, you guys.
Yeah, right? You can put your space dust in there.
All your space dust. Kieran saying, I think the only thing bad that I did on the internet was using LimeWire, and it gave my computer so many viruses. Yes, this is, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kieran, is that you can't just download, Linkin Park _ num.mp3.exe. It's the exe that's the giveaway. That's how you know that it's bad stuff for your computer. And then it gets bricked, and you get all sorts of pop-up ads, and your family gets angry at you because you broke another PC. And that's how you know.
It's also important to always read the comments before you download anything on the internet.
Always read the comments. Always read the reviews.
The reviews.
The reviews. No, I remember using LimeWire as well. See, here was the master play here, Dregn, is you use LimeWire to download LimeWire Pro without paying for it, and then you use LimeWire Pro to download all your, illegal MP3s and movies and what have you. That's the way to do it.
There you go. That's a big brain move right there.
Big brain moves. Man, I remember being very invested in LimeWire, and before that, Napster, and all that sort of file sharing stuff, because, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, is that Canada either is still presently or definitely used to be like the highest per capita country for media piracy. Like, we just did it all the time. It's in our blood. Everybody here does it. It's just a national pastime is to not pay for digital assets.
I mean, nowadays I feel, God, I wonder what the stats are for nowadays. Because back then it was either you bought it at the store or you pirated it.
Buy it right? At the store.
I mean, come on. Some people like to have the CDs and stuff, but nowadays,
I'm pretty sure I have one CD. I own one CD.
Oh man,
one compact disc for music, and it was a gift that was given to me when I was a child.
Didn't even buy it.
And it was the soundtrack to the Digimon movie, the American version of the Digimon movie.
the OG one back then, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But nowadays with like services like Spotify and Netflix and all that stuff, I imagine, God, it wouldn't surprise me if it was still common, but I wonder what the stats are nowadays. I haven't really thought about it.
Well, here's the thing that people have known for a long time, is that if you want to combat piracy, it's not about, making harsher penalties. It's about making purchasing the actual stuff easier,
worthwhile, or easier.
Yeah. If you can buy especially when it comes to stuff like games, for example, like nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to go through the hassle of trying to maneuver around, some repacked game torrent or something like that might or might not be packed with viruses. If you can just download it off of Steam for a good price or something like that. So it's all about accessibility and affordability.
Yep. And LimeWire, Anar, is what would you say? Napster and LimeWire were like super early 2000s, right? But it's basically
LimeWire stuck around
to
like
torrents?
the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't the precursor to torrents. Torrents were always a parallel file sharing method. But
it's
as
a similar
opposed to
piracy concept.
It's similar in the sense that torrents are going to be there's still a peer-to-peer file sharing, which is what LimeWire and Napster were. But torrents, you can draw data from multiple sources at the same time, whereas LimeWire and Napster were always sort of direct peer-to-peer sharing.
Was it? Okay. I never used those because I went the torrent route when that was available.
Still available, though.
It is still available.
It's not like they've gotten rid of these things. It's just a
can't.
method of file sharing,
Yeah. No, there's no way. That's something the internet needs to figure out, because like NFTs were another phase of trying to control to a certain extent what's on the internet, but I just don't see it.
Well, they just suck. We all know that.
That too. Yeah, I just don't see it being possible, though. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way.
And that's what's great about it.
Yeah, right?
That would be fair. That would be fair. When I was remaking, when I was building the new Vector Space PC, of course I had to install all of my old software and things like that. And some of my software, Dregn, you know, some of the art software that we use is a little out of date. So I was relying on some stuff that, some torrents that had not been maintained in a long time. So I go to pop in, you know, like my Adobe, you know, Creative Suite 6 or something like that, which hasn't been updated since like the mid 2010s or something like that. And all of a sudden it's like, why can't I connect to anything? Why is nobody seeding this anymore? Why are there no hosts for all of my data? And it's because, nobody uses this anymore, idiot. You got to find new sources.
Yeah. And actually, that's one of, I think, the smart moves that businesses have made by making service, like ongoing subscription services, like Adobe, what is it called? Creative Suite, right? Is that their subscription?
Well, there's the Creative Cloud now, which is their
Creative
service.
Cloud. Yeah, man, trying to get around that's such a pain. But
you gotta hustle them. Yep.
You do. But there are a ton of neat tools out there. Definitely easy to fall into the common big boy camp.
I have this cool NFT of a shrimp. You want to buy it? I do, Derringer. You let us know.
What kind of shrimp?
We're always in the market for a good shrimp NFT. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times.
I used to make little shrimps out of chopstick wrappers.
Out of chopstick wrappers? The only thing I know how to make out of a chopstick wrapper is a little stand for my chopsticks.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Yeah. What is it? Fold,
it's not quite it's not super fancy, but it's utilitarian, and I appreciate that.
There you go. That's when you know you use chopsticks, is when you're using the wrapper to use it to keep it off the dirty table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually went out for sushi the other day, so I got to make use of my skills.
There you
Actually,
go.
the only sort of origami that I kind of got good at was making cranes, because I made a senbazuru, 1,000 crane.
Did you actually make it? Yeah,
I
that's
did.
The one where you tie them all up.
Yep, 1,000 cranes tied together, and I took it to a memorial service in what do you call it? Hiroshima.
Oh.
On August the 15th of one year. So I didn't do all the work, but it was myself and some friends and some others who put the whole thing together, and we sent it off there, and I went there in person and hung it up with all the other ones, and it was super cool. Kieran knows how to make origami frogs? Nice.
Heck yeah. You make the jumping kind or the one that just lays there? Teriyaki sauce is pretty huge.
Favorite Asian sauce? Oh, is that what we're talking about? Okay, go, Dregn. Favorite Asian sauce?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think I'd probably go with teriyaki.
Teriyaki.
That or katsu sauce. Katsu sauce is pretty good too.
Katsu sauce is pretty good though. That brown sauce.
Yeah.
I think I like a Thai chili sauce.
Like a sweet chili sauce.
Yeah, like a sweet chili sauce.
Okay. Yeah. I know. Kind of what you're thinking.
Because I'm not great with spicy stuff, so it's always got to have some sort of sweetness to it, or some sort of mild flavoring.
And get some of that egg roll sauce, whatever that was called.
Egg roll sauce, nice. Now hold on, everybody. We might be back here.
Oh.
Can Dregn hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Stream, chat, can you hear us?
Stream appears to have gone down.
Stream should be back up. It still says that I'm streaming.
Is it? Let me refresh again. Okay. Yeah. Stream.
Our Derringer can hear us. All right. I
Nice.
think there's still an issue with Dragon's visibility.
All right. I'm blaming.
Gosh darn it, Dregn. What did you do? What did you do tonight? Jeez.
It was Kieran. Ketchup comment was so bad.
Oh, that must have been it. Of course. All right, we'll just do a refresh on Dregn again.
Gosh, I love salt with my tomatoes.
Bam, he's back. Look at that. We're back, folks. Minor technical hiccup there means I'm going to have to stitch together two halves of the video later on before we re-upload this. That'll be great. That'll be awesome. Ugh.
Which ketchup though? What do you mean which ketchup though? Speaking of
that's a good
ketchup,
question.
pro tip: put a bunch of pepper and ketchup. Eat it with your fries. Super good.
Some pep up, if you will.
Yeah. Is that an actual term, or is that vector shenanigans?
That's shenanigans.
Okay. The vector
But
lingo.
no, real question though, because do you remember Dregn when they had green ketchup and purple ketchup?
Oh my god, that was so long ago. I've all but forgotten green ketchup. I don't know about purple ketchup, but
Do you guys know about
stupid.
green ketchup?
I think that was before half of their time. Karen might know about green. I don't know Derringer too personally, but yeah, God, green ketchup. Whose idea was that? Oh, it was during when Shrek came out, wasn't it? Wasn't it because of Shrek?
I don't think it was a Shrek time, was it?
I feel like green ketchup came about because of Shrek. Hold on.
No, I think the green ketchup was just because that might be closer
Yeah, it
to
was
the
Heinz.
natural ketchup coloring, because I'm not sure if they use ripe tomatoes when they make ketchup.
Who knows? They heck.
Green, Kieran, green. Reconnection successful. Seems
There we
like we're
go.
back.
I hear you.
Ketchup talk is too strong, though. We didn't lose
I
Dragon
know.
this time, which is an improvement.
That is an improvement. Heck yeah. I'm half alive half the time.
Only half the time, though.
Yep. Ketchup talk too strong. No joke. Man, I don't remember purple ketchup though. Was that I believe you guys that it came out around the same time, but
Yeah, slightly afterward, I think. They're like, all right, we've cornered the market on colorful ketchups. Let's see how far we can push this.
yeah.
And that was clearly what broke the camel's back, because after purple ketchup, you never heard anything about it again. I think Heinz had a green ketchup that was promotional deal for Shrek, Derringer. All right, this is odd because Dregn seems to be reporting the same thing. But they had green before and after as well. I remember it not being a Shrek thing.
I think you guys are right that it came out not relating to Shrek, and then maybe when Shrek came out, they brought it back. Yeah, okay, so I do find some bottles that have
They
Shrek
had
imagery on it.
some extras, some leftovers in the back. They're like, all right, how can we get rid of this this excess green ketchup
Yeah.
stock? Well, Shrek's green, right? I mean, how can we make this work? Listen, tell them we'll pay just to put Shrek on the bottle.
Oh man.
And that's marketing 101 for you guys.
It was just sitting in the warehouse for so long because they don't go bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only green
We
sauce
gotta
I'd
get
want
this
to
out
see
of
in a
here
bottle
before it
is pesto.
expires. Like pesto, is that what you just said?
yeah, pesto.
Jeez.
Good man. Put it on some pizza, some like white chicken pizza with some pesto on it. Maybe some arugula.
Ooh. Karen with an odd question here. Didn't the color they used make people poop weird colors, so they stopped it? I don't
I'm
know if
pretty
that was
sure-
the case. Should we... let's do a little deep dive here, Dregn. Let's see.
Yeah, you gonna be Googling poop colors?
Right now, that's right. That's exactly how I'm going to word it. Green ketchup, poop weird colors.
Just be careful what kind of images you wish for. But that wouldn't
I'm not sure.
surprise me. I mean,
It's not giving me any results here, you guys. I'm tippity tapping on my computer here, and it's not giving me any
poop neon
info.
green from Burger King Halloween
neon
Whopper.
green.
That sounds wild. Whoa. Man,
King
does it glow?
Halloween.
Will it glow in the dark too? Oh my god.
Yo, I remember this. Dregn.
What? Did you find it?
Dregn.
Yes, I'm here.
Dregn.
Vector?
I'm trying to load an image, but it doesn't want to load. Let me find a different source. Here we go. Load image. Ah, that's a terrible image. Let me find another one. That's so low resolution.
The only thing this reminds me of is eating like a bunch of beets and then you go to the restroom and you're just like, I need to see a doctor now. Even though it's
Beets?
just beets. Yeah, like, you know, the red beets, purple beets, whatever the heck they are.
Mm.
They will dye everything all the way from mouth to exit.
Gross, really gross. Okay, check this out, Dregn. Check this out. So this was the Halloween Whopper, and let's just double check with Derringer, see if this is the one that they were talking about. We're gonna zip on up to the screen. Check this out. This is always so fun. Zoop, 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 zoop. And we're gonna turn on the screen capture.
Oh God!
Obviously, it wasn't that one. Where is it? Bam! There we go. Yeah, Halloween Whopper. Can I zoom in a little more? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Flavor baked into the bun. Look at it. Pitch black, Dregn.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, it looks pretty cool, but man, instead of dyeing the bun, couldn't they just make like a sesame bun that was black? I feel like
use black sesame seeds?
Yeah, doesn't that already exist? Like black sesame
Yeah, those are real.
bread?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not what they did, I imagine, if it's turning your excrement dark green or neon green.
Neon green, even. It had A1 sauce on it. Yeah, you can tell because look at that. Halloween, the A1 and the Halloween Whopper. Baked into the bun. Flavor baked into the bun.
But it's not scary enough for multiple odds, just one.
Yeah. But the black dye made your poo green. That is shocking. Startling.
Here's a fun Dragon fact. I actually really dislike mayo on my hamburgers.
Dislike mayo on your hamburgers?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It makes it all kind of yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It just tastes funny to me.
To be fair, I don't put it on any of my stuff either. Yeah. And you know what? I'll say this. I don't care for Japanese mayo. I know people are like, oh, it's the best. It's the best mayo.
Ooh,
it's so different.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like how they put it on everything. It's, yeah.
They'll eat
because
it
they
right
do.
out.
They do, Dregn. They put it on everything and on things that shouldn't have it. I'm talking about mayo on pizza. I'm talking about mayo on chicken. I'm talking about mayo on, just weird stuff.
Yeah, you got the
with corn even though.
Creamy cornbread. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Creamy cornbread. Like,
yeah, it'd be good if it wasn't so like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like this like silky, sticky, I don't know, just like jizz. Not that I would know, but
all right, that's that's suspect.
It's that joke where people what is it? Cinnabon and their liquid jizz.
I see
one of
what
the
you're getting
comedians
at.
did that.
Yeah.
Shut up. But
Suspicious
Japanese Japanese mayo. It's more egg based than whatever our American. And
that might be it. That might be it.
It is
Kieran
good
over here
on
saying
salad.
I can eat anything on a burger, but I have to be the one to put pickles on it, though. Pickle distribution, it's important. I'll say.
Oh hell yeah!
You gotta layer them right. You gotta put them just right.
Yeah.
Or here's the thing: you skip the pickles, you go for a nice relish spread. You just get that all over the place. You don't have to worry about proper pickle distribution. Then you're all set.
That's a
nice little crunchy relish.
Yeah. For me though, relish goes on hot dogs, pickles go on burgers.
Interesting take. Derringer saying I don't like pickles, love relish though. Hate pickles. Derringer, I don't wanna blow your mind here, but they're exactly the same thing, just cut up and in a slight pickle slurry. I don't mean to, rock your world here or nothing, but
you also gotta consider, are we talking about like sweet relish versus dill? Because
true. There is a difference there. I'll give you that.
But I assume Derringer must know the difference of sweet relish versus like dill pickle.
Listen, any space cadet worth their salt coming in here who doesn't know the difference between sweet relish and a dill pickle, I just couldn't believe it. I have much more faith in our space cadets than that, sir.
No, the cadets are top notch. We know this.
Top notch. Top notch. Kieran saying, I hate when the pickles get warm, like when you order a burger from a fast food place and they're all warm and slimy. Yeah, gross.
I got some nightmare fuel for you. That's not because of the warm burger. That's because the pickles have been sitting at the bottom for weeks.
Weeks, not even just hours. He had to hit us with weeks.
Yep. Just that one pickle that got forgotten
food
about.
Dragon? There's a question.
Oh,
Do you ever
no.
work fast food service?
I've actually never. Man, it's wild
He's
to think about.
never
because,
had a job, you guys.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That's incredible. I know. No, I've only ever worked for a family business and corporate world. So I've actually never had like hospitality work experience.
That's why he's so inhospitable.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm inhospitable, you guys. What about you, Vector?
I have not. No, I never worked a fast food sort of job. In fact, I don't know that anyone that I've sort of hung around with worked fast food, really. Oh, you know what? That's not true. I knew a couple guys who worked at a place during university, like one of the cafeterias, that sort of thing. So I take that back. But no, not myself, not personally. Other little jobs involved in like customer service, like retail, that sort of thing, but not fast food specifically.
I couldn't imagine working at like fast food chain. It seems like such just no offense to anybody. Yeah,
look
it
at
seems like
Kieran's
such a low
comment.
IQ.
I was a
work.
manager at an Arby's. Did you just say it's low IQ work? Is that what you just said?
Well, because I don't know. You tell me, Kieran. I mean, if you were a manager at Arby's and if you worked at McDonald's, I feel like it's like a help desk call center. You literally just work off of a script almost, but it's a more move around script.
Listen, the only low IQ thing about working at Arby's is the fact that you're working at an Arby's when you could be working at literally any other fine food establishment. It's like the worst fast food ever is Arby's. Because it's like,
You think so?
we've got sandwiches at home. We can make this at the house. Like it's the exact same thing.
But they have the meats.
That's true. They do have the meats. They say so prominently and proudly.
Yep.
I almost missed this comment from Derringer, though. Did you know this, Dregn? The Double Down is back at KFC for the next couple weeks.
KFC, I have a love-hate relationship with KFC because, like, when my
don't we
parents
all?
used to be lazy, right? We'd get a bucket of chicken, and the extra
That
crispy
dirty
was
bird.
Always, yeah, the extra crispy was always just the way to go. But it's so gross. Like getting older and then getting KFC again. It reminds me of getting McDonald's again after I stopped eating junk food a while back. And it's just like the memories were like decent, but then the food itself was just so not.
Yeah, as a
Not
kid, you always want to
special.
go to McDonald's.
Yeah, it's wild to me. But also on the flip side, I feel like the quality of the food, like no cap, was just simply not
This guy just
as
say no
bad
cap.
today. I did because it's important.
Wow.
But I swear to God, back then junk food was of better quality than it is today. Like 20 years ago.
He might have a point. He might have a point.
I swear the Taco Bell shells were crispier and the Carl's Jr. burritos were bigger and the Burger King fries were just simply the best in the early 2000s. Nowadays, man, I don't know. Is it just the perspective of age and wisdom? Or
No,
has
surely
quality
not.
actually gone
Surely
down?
our rose-tinted, nostalgic pasts had to be, the best thing ever.
But it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me one bit if the quality did in fact go down. Because were my hands just small back then, or were the burritos actually larger back then?
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
I've heard legend of something called an all-you-can-eat KFC. I used to see advertisements for them on billboards on the highway when we'd drive down to visit family in Florida.
That's crazy.
Right?
I know about all you can eat, like pizza buffets. I've heard of that. Like Pizza Hut
Yeah.
or Domino's, or one of them did.
Yeah, I remember Pizza Hut used to have those. They even had those here. But we never had anything like an all-you-can-eat KFC. I always thought that was wacky.
I think fast food having an all-you-can-eat option should be illegal. That sounds like a horrible idea.
A recipe for disaster. A secret recipe for disaster, if you will.
KFC with a buffet. Oh boy.
Yo, Kieran saying I used to live next to an all-you-can-eat KFC. And look, he's still alive. So, you know, they can't be that
Oh,
bad.
man. We're glad you're here, Kieran.
So, you know, they can't be the worst thing in the world because, you know, years later they would invent the double down. And
You know,
that keeps
Vector,
coming back.
He only said he lived next to one. He didn't say he went there every day. Please.
Okay, but Kieran, how many times did you go there every day? Let us know.
You know, yeah, but I can imagine when you live right next to it. Oh man, I imagine the temptation.
It's got to be
just,
hard
like, go
not
to
to
the
eat
easy
all
route.
that you can eat at the all you can eat KFC.
Because I know when I was in Japan for a couple weeks, there was a 7-Eleven like right downstairs. Man, I bought too much Strong Zero and like over the counter like chicken snacks at night. A few times a day, load up on the mashed potato. The potatoes are always good. I don't know what it is about just like processed mashed potatoes are delicious. I can't. That's the one processed food that I'm like, okay, this is fine. It's just dried out potatoes, right?
Yeah, really. That did get me thinking though, Dregn, about and I've thought about this for a little while now because I see like YouTubers who go to visit Japan or broadcast out of Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that Westerners have developed this odd like relationship with Japanese convenience stores and how great they are relative to Western convenience stores. And then they'll talk about, you know, all the different ones in comparison to one another and, you know, which one is best and that sort of thing. But I imagine, like, it's got to be that if you're a native Japanese person, to hear people talk about convenience stores with such reverence must seem weird, right?
I could see that just because I don't know about where you're from, but I imagine it's very parallel to where I am. Like convenience stores here are like full on stores, like full stores, whereas convenience stores in Japan are more like gas station convenience stores, but they sell like the essentials that you would find at our equivalent of a super or like convenience store. So I don't know. I always liked the Japanese style because one, there was like a certain level of quality that you could expect for like any of their kind of walk in, walk out stores, but also
Japanese quality.
Yeah, but also I don't know what it is. Like you can go in there, get a sandwich or get like a lunchbox, and it would actually like be a decent lunchbox. Whereas if I go to my convenience store out here,
that shouldn't be mind blowing though, right?
But if I go to the convenience store out here and buy a sandwich, the only part of the sandwich that's edible is like the sliver that's visible to the consumer when you buy it, because the rest of it is just bread or like not filled with, you know, produce or whatever. Like it's just different. It's definitely different.
I just think it must seem weird if you're a Japanese person, if you were to stumble onto one of these videos of, you know, a Western YouTuber, you know, just flipping their wig over the fact that they can buy, you know, a semi-decent onigiri and like a highball in a can at a convenience store.
The difference too is if you buy a onigiri in a store out here, it's usually cold and compact and hard, whereas if you buy it over there, it's actually still has some fluff to it, surprisingly.
They make them daily.
That was my experience.
I've seen those videos.
They do. And actually, here's a fun fact too. 7-Eleven without Japan would not exist today.
That's true, yeah, because they like bought out their parent company.
Yep. And I think there are, I forget the statistics, but there are a massive number of 7-Elevens in Japan, and it actually saved the 7-Eleven brand.
Just so convenient. Plus, they've got like their banking.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Over there as well. Yeah. They've got a lot more going on.
Yeah, 7-Eleven over there is literally the embodiment of a convenience dash store.
Convenience dash store.
Yeah.
Derringer saying, you say onigiri, I say donut. Jelly filled are my favorite. Do you get that one, Dregn?
I don't get that one. Should I?
You don't get that? That is a translation, an old translation joke. Back in the, you must know, the Pokemon.
Yep.
Yeah, Kieran knows what we're talking about. Yeah, so that was an old translation issue.
Japanglish
from the Japanese
deal.
to, Yeah, from Japanese to English, they're eating onigiri, and so they got to come up with a reason to explain this food concept to Westerners. So they just say, "Oh, it's a jelly donut."
Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah. I could never get behind jelly-filled donuts. It always seemed just super messy to me, and I don't know what it is. I just could never do jelly donuts. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I feel like if you weren't what's the term? Indoctrinated?
Indoctrinated? That is definitely not the term, but I think I know what you mean. If you didn't grow up with them,
yeah. If you weren't exposed to like jelly donuts at a young age, I feel like that's not a easily acquired habit or preference.
Taste,
yeah,
if you will.
I don't know.
When you're talking about foodstuffs, an acquired taste.
Yeah. Cult of
onigiri donut. Exactly. There's those who know, and those who just don't know. But now you know, Dregn. So now you're in the
Now I know. Heck yeah.
It all comes back to this pop culture stuff, Dregn. Power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
I know. You know what it is?
Spider-Man 2. Idiot over here.
Dang. Oh, twist the knife. Why don't you? No, if I don't use it like frequently, it just goes somewhere. It lives a happier life.
I've got a list. I've got a list of you. A list for you.
A list of me? Whoa.
A list of you. Just of you, Dregn. A whole list of Dregnisms. I've got a list for you of popular film quotes, famous film quotes. Let's see if you can put any of these again to their source. That's right. We're going to put you on the spot. We're going to test his knowledge right here.
How many times I have to tell you guys, I'm so bad with quotes. I could never recite jokes or movie quotes in the past. This is going to be fantastic.
All right. These ones start out pretty easy. All right. All right. We know that Dregn doesn't know Spider-Man, so we're not going to do, any more. Well, here. I'll give you this one. Maybe you know this one. With great power comes great responsibility, Dregn.
That's a well-known Spider-Man. Come on.
Yeah, that's from the first Spider-Man. Yeah, so everybody knows that, right? So you're one for one in terms of Spider-Manisms.
Well, also I've heard that one so many times because you had it from the cartoon, you had it from the movies, you've had it from the movies, you've had it from the movies.
All right, here's the next one, Dregn. Maybe you can place this one.
All right,
that's no moon. It's a space station.
Oh God, what was that from? Was that?
Are you kidding me?
Was that Spaceballs or was that?
Was it Spaceballs? Well, let him think.
That wasn't Austin Powers. No. I'm blanking on it.
That's no moon. We're heading toward that small moon. That's no moon. It's a space station, Dregn.
Oh, is this the Star Wars?
Yes, it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Like, it sounds so familiar. Where was it from?
It should. It's iconic.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of these lines. Jeez Louise, you almost... Spaceballs, though? You were going to go with Spaceballs?
Because it sounded like a comedic line rather than the Star Wars vibe.
To be fair, yeah, I kind of get that, yeah. You know what?
Okay.
I was thinking about this the other day. Is it, if we really wanted to, like, be done with all of, like, the Marvel films and, like, superhero films and things like that, we're just one Mel Brooks parody away from just killing it. Like, that's all you got to do. Like, we're at a point now where you just get one good parody film of superhero films and they're done. That's what they need. They need their own Spaceballs.
Yeah, but as long as...
And then we can just be done with them for a couple decades. Maybe, hopefully. We could just take a break. We could just take a break from superhero movies.
You've seen the movie Tropic Thunder?
I have seen Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Love that movie for one, but that's one that I think most people agree like could never be made today. Or he could, but
sure you could. Yeah, you can make just about any movie these days.
But there'd be some controversy today that would be a little harsher than when it was first made. But I wonder if Spaceballs
talk about like Like the
Well, there was
pigmentation scene and stuff like that?
the pigmentation, sure, but no, because that movie had to deal with Simple Jack, right?
Oh, that's right. They had Ben Stiller play a guy with mental problems.
Yeah, he went full retard, quote unquote. But there was also Robert Downey, who did full on blackface for the movie, right? Which
within the context of the film, which
there was great.
There was
I mean, it was
issues
so
with that at the time, but I think he's always sort of skirted that just because they bring it up right in the film.
Yeah, it's funny to me that the extremely addicted and dude going through drug withdrawal was like so commonplace that wasn't an issue. Like,
Jack Black's character. That's right.
Jack Black, and then I forget who the other two, if they had like a particular quirk going on, or if they were more like regular soldiers. But
you had like the rap artist turned actor, and then you had what's his name, Jay Barakal or whatever.
He was like the newbie guy, right? Like
Canadian boy, by the way. And he was like newbie actor, that sort of thing. First big role. Jack Black is a national treasure, Derringer. You're right. Blazing Saddles with the Wild West. You ever see Blazing Saddles, Dregn?
I might have. I'd have to see the image. I don't
Another Mel Brooks joint. Stars who's in it? Gene Wilder's in it, and I forget the name of the main actor.
Yeah,
but Wild West sort of parody film. All of the big how you say Mel Brooks films are like big parodic send ups.
If I had seen it, I don't remember any of it other than
okay. Dregn in movies, you guys.
I know, I'm horrible. Don't worry about it.
Here, let's try another one, Dregn. Here's another quote. Let's see if you can place it.
Okay.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Ooh.
Again, iconic cinema.
Yeah, again, another one that I've heard. I'm trying to place the movie or the voice or the person behind the voice. Say it again?
I could try to do the voice more like the actor.
Nah, you don't have to. That to give it away.
Here's looking at you, kid.
God, I feel like it was like a Liam Neeson type of a film, but I'm trying to...
A Liam Neeson type of a film.
I don't remember this one. I can't think of what even would be.
No, you don't remember this one because you don't know this one.
Is it?
Is what it sounds like.
What is it?
What is it? Oh, that is Casablanca, sir.
Pretty sure I've seen this though.
You might have. Very famous film.
Yeah, it's pretty old too, isn't it? Yeah, no,
very
super
old.
Super old.
Possibly the oldest film in existence. It's not, though.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have gotten this one. Even if
a lot of good quotes from Casablanca. Casablanca is a lot funnier than you would think from an old film. That's what I always found about it.
I always thought a lot of the older films had like a little tease of comedy mixed into it anyways.
Yeah, little jokey scenes. Yeah. Good lines. Here's another one. You're going to get this one, Dregn. I know it.
We'll see.
Here's the line. The line is, you're going to need a bigger boat.
That was Jaws, no?
That was Jaws, Dregn. Good job. You got one. He's on the board, you guys. Dregn got it. Let's give him a big round of applause. Way to go, Dregn. Good job. He's doing it, you guys. He's killing it out here. Oh, look, and the redeems are working again all of a sudden. That's great.
Okay, nice.
Derringer, I was going to say Pacific Rim. True, if only they had a bigger boat in Pacific Rim. Would have solved so many problems.
Did they even have boats in Pacific Rim?
Conceptually, yeah, I suppose they must have boats in Pacific Rim. Oh yeah, because you remember
I feel like they airdropped everyone.
Yeah, but in one of the big fights, they used a boat to swing it into a kaiju. It was really cool.
Was that the first one or the second one?
There was a second one? Oh, there was a second Pacific Rim. You're right. With John Boyega.
Oh.
No, I didn't see that one, though. No, so it was the first one. They swung a boat around like a club, and it was super cool. whole film was just super
yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah, does that count? He picked the damn boat up and swung it like a bat.
Yeah, it's still a
Right?
boat though, so yeah, it's gotta count.
Okay, fine.
All right, next one. You're gonna get this. This one's iconic. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
That was shit. Was it Godfather or Scarface?
You don't sound confident.
I don't, because I saw these movies like a really long time ago and I can't remember which was which. They blend together for me.
They blend together? How does Godfather and Scarface blend together?
Because I don't know, I never got like super big on like the whole mafia yakuza type films. So even if I saw them, it's like I don't know, the weird shit that I remember are more likely going to be like in the fantasy or sci-fi genres.
Did you ever see the Battles Without Honor and Humanity films?
Which one is this?
These are like the OG Yakuza films.
Let me see real quick. My grandpa used to record the old school like black and white samurai flicks.
Your grandpa would probably know Battles Without Honor and Humanity.
No, this shit seems.
I think there's like 4
color.
or 5 films in the series.
No, I don't think I've ever seen these. This
They're
is a
good movies.
film or like a short type of a deal?
No, like film, long film.
Okay. Huh, interesting.
Japanese film.
I don't think I've ever even heard of these.
Yeah, and it's a neat period as well, because it's
Based on
set in like the aftermath of World War II, which is when you get all sorts of crime happening and what have you.
A lot of Western
country is in
influence
shambles,
coming in.
that sort of thing. And
Before or after the Western influence comes in?
well, obviously afterward. I mean, you just lost the war. You're gonna get your Western influence.
Okay.
It's coming.
So it's when the Yakuza rose to power and all that stuff?
Well, rose to power, got more influential, I guess. Really, took advantage of the situation.
I mean, there's still that debate. I don't really know how grounded in reality it all is, but isn't there some conversation about how there are certain parts of Japan where, much like Chicago and the mafia might be, the Chicago might be run by the mafia behind the scenes. The Yakuza has like a lot of influence and pull and potentially might even be in charge of a couple of districts out in Japan.
Well, probably in more areas than other. Yeah, I guess you sort of feel that way if you're like walking through like Kabukicho or like other areas in like Shinjuku, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's not like they disappeared, right? They just became more business.
Yeah, they got smarter.
Exactly. They started playing the game rather than
They
against
learned
it.
to play the game, yeah. Instead of cutting off fingers and getting tattoos, now they're running for local council.
Yeah, I love it. I love how Darren just like, I'm great at this game, and you've been just saying the first thing that comes
It's all
to
been
mind.
like video games.
Yep.
We're doing film quotes, and he's coming out here with, oh, that's Dota 2. That's
Well, they
great. We
could be
love
from either.
participation.
Yeah, we love these games that pull.
He's
pop
trying to
culture
explain
references.
yourself. Here's another one, Dregn. You're going to get this. Oh, it was Godfather, by the way. But you're going to get this one.
Okay.
Everybody knows this one. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Oh, I should know this one. Love this. Oh man, I've seen this movie. Gosh,
Right?
obviously a war movie.
This is the
Vietnam one.
helicopters are going.
Yeah, what the hell was it? I know it was
Da,
called-
da, 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 da.
You know what? The problem is when it comes to Vietnam movies, the only movie that immediately pops to the front of my head is Good Morning Vietnam.
That's a good movie, Robin Williams.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Was that what the movie title was, or was that just the quote?
No, that's the title of the movie too.
It was. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think that was.
I
the
could have put
movie
that on the
title.
list, but that's a little too easy because it's also the name of the film.
yeah. No, I would have gotten that one. Yeah, obviously a Vietnam movie, if I recall, but I can't remember what other Vietnam movie exists. So
What other movie exists? That is Apocalypse Now, Dregn.
okay. I love Full Metal Jacket. What are you guys talking about? That was like another great movie I haven't seen in a long time.
All right, I had another one here, but you're gonna get this. I guarantee you're gonna get this because you
I don't
stumbled.
know.
No, because you stumbled onto one of the ones earlier. The quote,
Okay.
Dregn, is "Say hello to my little friend."
Okay, that's Scarface. Yeah, we know
That's
this one.
Scarface. Everybody knows that. That's easy. All right, good
Yeah.
job, Dregn. You're not completely clueless.
Yeah,
He's
it's
getting
just-
it, you guys. He's getting it.
But the subtleties, man, they get me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I've talked about this before, but I'm more likely to remember like the vibe or like the message of a scene rather than the lyrics of something. It's
the details.
My brain. It's
the
weird.
Things that happen in it.
Exactly.
And are saying I'm uncultured as heck. I'd recognize none of these. Man, some people out here, they need their education. Their film education.
To be fair, like half of these are older than Anar's.
They're a little older, yeah, I'll give you that. And to be fair, I know a lot of film stuff, but I don't know a lot of like video game stuff or like comic stuff or stuff like that. So there's other, points of pop culture that I don't get to. So I feel you.
Yeah, I'd be ruined if it was like comic pop culture, man. That is a niche within a niche if I've ever seen one.
Be like, Dregn, explain to us the difference between the Ultimate Spider-Man and the Superior Spider-Man.
Not even that, isn't there? Like, there's like dozens of variations of Spider-Man and spin-offs.
So many Spider-Men, though.
Not canon, and it's not even just Spider-Man. It's like I feel like they did that with the X-Men. I feel like they did that with Superman. Obviously, they got the spin-offs. With like Black Adam, and then you got the Miss Marvel, and was there a Mr. Marvel, and they all kind of tie into one another. And it's a wild world right there.
It's a mess. Yep.
I don't even know.
All right, so guys, we are going to be back in another 30 seconds. We're going to take a quick unskippable break. If you manage to skip the ads, hey, good for you. You get to see a be right back screen for a couple extra seconds. We'll be back with you momentarily. The Vector Spaceman Show and the Dregn Durant Show continue right after this. And we're back here at the Vector Spaceman Show. Oh, you guys just see that? Looks like Dragon's disappeared again. We'll have to sort that out. And it almost sounds like he's not with us at the moment. Uh-oh, what has happened here? Let's get this sorted. Give us a second. Technical difficulties abound. It's just one of those evenings all of a sudden, you guys. Oh, hold on. He hasn't disappeared. There he is. There's Dregn.
I haven't disappeared. Hey,
he just moved away from the screen.
I did. Vector, I wish you would have like a door to the side. I don't know why you have the hatch at the bottom under the table. It's kind of weird to get in.
You can always slink off to the side. Try it. Just try moving off. Just try moving off to the side. There he goes. Zoop. Look at him go. And he's back. Look at that. See, you can always just step off.
Man, the signage in here, it's a little rough sometimes. All right.
Now, Dregn, we'll probably wrap up pretty soon, but there is one topic of conversation that I wanted to get to tonight, because it's something that you mentioned on stream last night, where you wanted to talk about it on tonight's show. And this all had to do with the this video that had come out lately. This Corridor Digital Video, which is a production team out of Los Angeles, who are known for a number of viral indie videos over the years, as well as a series that sort of critiques Hollywood CGI work, often with industry professionals on as guests. Now, recently, they've released I guess you might say, a contentious new video titled Anime Rock, Paper, Scissors. And you were talking about this last night on the stream. And your pitch to talk about this on the show was, oh, well, you like animation, which I thought was kind of a ridiculous segue into it. But yeah, we do like animation. You're absolutely right about that. I don't know if I'd call this animation per se, but they've released this video. And okay, so Kieran knows what we're talking about here. Have you guys seen this? So it is a short video called Anime Rock, Paper, Scissors, which is leveraging what could best be described as rotoscoping filters, AI-assisted rotoscoping filters, to give it a particular look, a particular feel. They've also got a behind-the-scenes video titled, Did We Just Change Animation Forever? Which I certainly hope not. That would be kind of rough if that were the direction that animation were taking in the future. But you know what's interesting about these videos, Dregn?
What's that?
Here, I'll go into it. First, let's hear your thoughts on the video, because I guarantee that you've probably got a more generous take than I do on it.
I don't know about generous, but you want to keep that train of thought, because if I get started, it's gonna divulge into who knows what.
No worries. We're good at keeping track of our mental notes.
So I don't know. I think it's super interesting because I draw a lot of parallels between what I've seen in game development with what's going on in the art world right now, right? Because like animation in video games has multiple phases from rigging and what is it? You got the people who do like the skeleton work on the models, and then you got the people doing the texture work on the models.
Rigging, yes.
Yeah, and then you got the obviously with the technology improvements, you've got things like motion capture that have greatly changed the way video game kind of model movement and all that is performed and captured and depicted. But then that also carries over to film animation too, where they do motion capture in like animated films, and then you also have what am I thinking about? Like, I guess green screen technologies that will also kind of remove the need to have like miniature models that we saw in the old school days, or having sets that are built for the purpose of filming. So I don't know. When I saw this animation, there was another guy who was kind of already teasing, I feel, a similar concept with kind of taking the human recording and then masking over it with some kind of like an artistic style. It was the guy that did the whole adventure awaits, huzzah, that guy.
I know exactly who you're talking about. So that is a technique that is called rotoscoping, and typically that's done sort of like animation, frame by frame. But yeah, you're tracing over live action footage essentially. Right. And this used to be used as sort of a cost-cutting, time-saving measure in some cases, where you'd see like in old Ralph Bakshi animations, you'd use it to sort of insert live action like background characters or something like that with realistic or as sort of to sort of cartoonify realistic characters next to traditionally animated characters. So you'd see this in, like, for example, the Lord of the Rings Return of the King animated film was a Ralph Bakshi work, and I believe we saw some of this content used there. There was also a film called Wizards, which was Ralph Bakshi done, and you saw some of it used there, and it always looked not great. So that was always the problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can imagine
it was always either done to like cut corners, or as a deliberate stylistic choice, like for the film A Scanner Darkly, where you see it used heavily throughout the whole film. But here's the thing: is that nobody prefers it to traditional animation. It's always wobbly. It's always weird. So it's always either you do it because you're authentically trying to get that look for whatever reason, or you're trying to do it to save some time. But yeah, the Huzzah Adventure Awaits guy, I know exactly who you're talking about. I don't know his name right off the top of my head, but that guy does great videos. And yeah, so that's what we call rotoscoping.
Yeah. So when I saw this come out, and you guys know that I've been dabbling a little bit in exploring some of this AI stuff.
This guy dabbles.
It dabbles, yeah. But much like 3 months ago, 3 to 6 months ago, people were like, oh yeah, AR, it's not going to be an issue. There's still problems with hands and accessories and certain parts of, the backgrounds and all that stuff. I mean, in the past month alone, there's been insane improvements. And if this is kind of the beginning of this AI-assisted rotoscoping method, I guarantee it's going to be more stabilized in maybe even as little as another month. So I bring up this statistic a lot these days, or not even a statistic, this metric a lot, but Midjourney being one of the tools that I've played with and use for AI art to just tease and play with and do for my little show. Their Discord server, which is essentially how many people have joined to use this tool, currently sits at 13 million, pushing on 13.3 million members on their Discord. Almost 1 million members who are actively online, allegedly. So, yeah, AI artwork is inevitable, and I feel like AI animation at this point is inevitable. So, I don't know. I'm impressed by the tech. Whether it will replace animation forever, I agree with you that it won't. But I was curious about kind of your take on it, since you have a bit more, quite a bit more experience in the animation side of things than I do. So it reminded me a little bit about
Midjourney is the one that is limited strictly to their Discord service, right?
And Discord, yeah, correct. So, but using just the membership on their Discord server as a metric, that is hands down the largest Discord server I've ever seen in my life. Which 13 million people is crazy.
It's a crazy amount of people.
Yeah.
So to be fair, that's, dabblers, it's serious people, it's a whole mix of folks.
That is fair. That's a fair point. Yeah,
it could be people who join up just to see what it looks like, and then they say, "Oh, this seems too hard," and they just quit. But they're still technically part of the Discord.
That is a good point. Yep, true. But yeah, I don't know. I imagine this animation style will probably start popping up more and more frequently, and part of the challenge with the rotoscoping stuff that you're talking about was that it looks a little off.
Give it a second. We'll just give it a second. And it looks like we're back. Okay, we're all good. We're back. Yes, so you were just saying you were watching the behind the scenes video.
Where are you?
I'm still here. Am I not still here?
Were you hearing me the whole time or did it cut out?
I'm not sure. What was the last thing you said?
That is a good question. What is the last thing I said? Dang. What did you guys hear last?
You were just talking about how you had been watching the behind the scenes video.
Yeah. Okay. So the little bit got chopped. So yeah, watching that behind the scenes where they were talking about how they had to go about this process, they talked about how, the AI, when it kind of draws over frame by frame, it was using styles from just what seemed like all over the place, right? There was no consistency with the stylization of the draw over, or whatever the term for it is. So
because they had a very limited image set.
Yeah. But what I guess they found, right, is that they started to train kind of their own model to draw over frame by frame. I think they were using Stable Diffusion, if I recall. But
you are correct. That's right.
Yeah, that one seems to have like the most customization option for folks to really dive into it from what I've seen. But yeah, the fact that they were able to gain any sort of consistency, and on top of that, the fact that with Stable Diffusion, what's impressing me about it the most is the fact that it's like it's able to, because it has like a physical reference it's drawing over, like hands don't seem to be an issue for it. Which traditionally,
I think there's still a little bit of an issue, but
there's a little bit, sure. But you can imagine that as this continues in the next year, much less is my assumption, but I imagine it's going to become more and more frequent, and then we'll probably see maybe even like a full feature film made in the style, maybe 2020.
Well, that would be terribly contentious, just because of the way that these things are put together.
True, but you got to consider the exponential method at which these types of tech will improve. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something full-fledged come out in 24. But who knows? But another thought that came to mind is when you had talked about using like VTuber motions as kind of assisted animation of sorts. I
consider it assisted animation in that sense when we do like our animated specials. Yeah, we're using live 2D for it, so it's obviously cutting out a lot of work there.
Yep. But I imagine there could be some overlap in that format. But also what I thought might be a fun little idea is, you know how stop motion, like claymation and all that, is super expensive now because
love
of time investment.
Yeah,
it's a pretty unique style and everything, but can you imagine that there will probably be a day where this AI assisted, animation assisted, whatever form could probably pull off, some stop motion stylization or clay motion stylization and make it look.
I do not think so. I think it's much easier. So? I think it is much easier to fake the look of claymation through existing 3D rendering than to try to do it through any sort of AI thing. Because we do that right now. Like there's actually some people who make videos right now, virtual streamers and what have you, that are styled as like claymation type folks. And they look exactly as you'd expect. Yeah, you can do that within 3D right now. Very convincingly.
I guess that's a fair point because there are a lot of like children's animations. A lot of them are now just completely rendered rather than drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was super interesting, and then when I was watching it, it made me think of you. So yeah,
made you think of me. Ah.
Eh.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about it, Dragon, since you brought that up. So, first of all, I think it's difficult to even call it animation because it is, like I said before, basically a glorified rotoscoping filter. We're not the way that they're making it in this particular film, this particular short film, is basically tracing over every individual frame, interpreting it in some other style, and the other style in particular in this case happens to be through the lens of the Japanese animated film Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. So what you do in this case is you take hundreds of stills from the film that's being used and you try to emulate a particular style, and that's what people consider not to be very cool, because now you are, generating images based on other people's work. And not just based on other people's work, but sourced explicitly from somebody else's work. Not just one person's in this case, but a whole animation studio.
Yeah, that's the big issue with stable diffusion.
That's always the big issue, yeah. So stable diffusion, for those of you guys don't know, probably one of the more, I guess, if there's any commercial future for AI tools like this, something like stable diffusion is definitely the way to go. It is open source. It's trained on here's the crazy part, it is trained on a text image pair set that's got like over 600 million images in it. It is just wacky and wild and depth. But because these are not all like free use, 600 million images of pairs. Yes, exactly, Derringer. For all your AI generated pair image generating utility.
There you go.
But there is already at least one class action lawsuit that's been filed against Stable Diffusion, their parent company, DeviantArt, Midjourney, all these other AI generative image tools. Because what are they doing? They're taking from and learning from other people's work, and that's what people don't love. Yeah. Now, here's something interesting that the Corridor Digital team does. They also train part of their generative model with images that are taken of themselves in studio, so that's their likeness, in costume, that sort of thing. That's completely above board. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. Their backgrounds, kind of terrible. Their angles are all over the place. They try to do like some panoramic shots where they like whip around, but they're not stitched together very well. So that's the sort of thing that really shouldn't be regulated to AI. But I don't know if they have a choice. I don't know if they've got any illustrators on hand or if they just didn't put the effort in. So that's another thing. That is, it just kind of looks sloppy. Is that it's wibbly and wobbly like rotoscoping you'd expect to look, but not even in a consistent way like you get out of something like I said earlier, like the film Scanner Darkly. It's just kind of a mess. You look at it and like shadows pop and details still ebb and flow.
Yep.
So
if you pay close attention to it, you do notice those nuances.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. You get two camps out of this, basically. You get people who are ignorant or indifferent to the way that these works are generated. So people who look at it and they're like, oh, sick, cool. And then they'll probably never think about it, probably never watch it again. Or you get like the anti-AI types, or perhaps the AI ethicists, who are more concerned with, the ownership of the source material that styles are being cultivated from. And so many prompt-based generative AI models will rely on keywords that are like in the style of such and such or so and so. And so that calls into question, how much is an artist's entire body of work worth, and who is going to be the first big illustrator to sell the rights to their particular style, like their entire body of work, to one of these AI image generating services?
Yeah, that's the big question, and that's what's curious about, or that's what's going to be interesting about.
Because as soon as you do that, it's above board. It's completely on the level.
Well, the trick
you could use it
is
for
also,
whatever you want at that point.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're essentially selling your style, but the problem is you can't. It's traditionally not possible to copyright a style, right? And that's really what's kind of coming down to this whole two camps with the ethical line of should it be done, but then there's also the question of how is the software actually learning and replicating. So
right, they're not learning from interpretation; they're learning from raw image,
direct sources
that belongs to somebody else. That's the issue.
But then again, the question then is going to become, I guess, the ethical legitimacy of that, but then also the ethical legitimacy behind the output of it recreating a particular style. Because from what I could tell, there's going to have to either be some changes in copyright law, or that side of it is a losing battle. So I think a lot of the focus towards the ethics is it's actually towards the learning side, which is why we see like DeviantArt and ArtStation put in their terms that they're not going to be part of that anymore. But
well, here's the thing. I can tell you what'll do it. If the present lawsuits against companies like Stability AI and Midjourney and what have you don't force some sort of change, then really all you have to do if you want to make a win for the AI ethicists is you have to start producing images in the style of Disney.
Yeah, that's a funny argument. Yeah.
And as soon as you do that, then you're going to get the best lawyers arguing against it. As soon as you start selling AI-generated artwork, say, oh, it's, you can't copyright a style, man. They're going to say, all right, where'd you get those images from? And then they're going to do all the heavy lifting for you, and they're going to get the best lawyers, and they're going to get the best, the best of the best. And it's all over at that point.
I would welcome that argument though, like a big brand like Disney that has or like even Pixar, right? Like both of them have pretty distinct.
Well, to be fair, Pixar's owned by
styles. Disney. Yeah, that's true. Yep, and Disney owns Marvel now too, right? Disney owns way too much, but
they're the big dog.
Yeah, but that would be a fascinating dialogue. Disney lawyers going up against big tech lawyers, because
just let the big dogs duke it out.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean a lot of these big AI data sets, they're all backed by Microsoft, Elon. I think even Facebook is behind them. Like there's a ton of big names back in these AI tools. So that'd be a fun one. The old corporate versus the new corporate. Let's go.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. If you're, say, some big shot illustrator, if you're, what's a Japanese guy named? Junji Ito or something like that, or the Korean guy who does great illustrative pen work that I can't remember his name of, or if you're the guy who illustrated Watchmen, or if you're Mobius or Herge or someone like that, or I guess the estate that owns those works at this point, and you decide, all right, we're going to sell the rights to every image ever produced by this artist for the purposes of generating AI images to, whatever company decides to buy it, and they get a big payout. Maybe they get some sort of ongoing royalty or something like that. And then they just let people use that or buy a subscription to use that. At that point, like, you can't make an argument that that's not,
business
on the level. I think you either got to start doing that quickly, or you're going to start getting the big corporations involved in lawsuits.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Yeah, the problem is you need either a big influence or a big group or someone to lead that initiative though, because otherwise it'll
you need a big artist to do it first.
Yeah,
to say, I'm getting in on that and I'm getting a big payout, and hey, artists, you can too. Don't be worried about, people robbing your style, aping your work, that sort of thing. You can get paid here. And, maybe that will soothe some people. But at the same time, like I said before, how much is it going to be worth? Because if they start getting lowballed, illustrators are kind of at a disadvantage to begin with, because in America and elsewhere, there's a tendency to value writers over illustrators. So unless you're pulling double duty and your work is kind of iconic and people associate it with you, and you're like some sort of, you're a guy who does, the writing and the illustrating. You're someone, like Mobius with a real iconic style or something like that. Then, I think illustrators are probably going to get lowballed on how much a company like this would offer them. So you'd have to see, what they can get out of it, if anything. And
that's actually
here's the thing though. I don't know if they do it before they see what the outcomes of one of these like lawsuits is like.
Yeah.
Because if the lawsuit comes out and say, no, you don't have the right to use art that doesn't belong to you for generating AI images, then, they can go and say, okay, I'm not selling because you guys can't do it. And there's it's in the law says you can't do it. So why would I sell out at that point?
Yep.
But if they turn around, they say, no, you can use it because it's transformative or something like that, fair use, that kind of thing, then you might see people trying to cash in, or that's when you're going to see the big dogs get involved as litigants. You were about to say something insightful and serious, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, two things out of what you said that I thought were interesting. So one, you saying that artists are generally valued more than writers, but that made me think.
No. Quite the opposite. I think that writers are valued more than artists. For example,
right.
I can tell you who wrote Watchmen. It was Alan Moore. But who drew Watchmen?
I see what you're saying. But it's saying
wrote
what I'm
who wrote Spider-Man and stuff like that. It was Stan Lee, but who drew Spider-Man?
Yeah, I see where you're getting at. But that also made me think that the writers have already kind of been, what's the word? They've already been overlapped with the AI being able to do some of the writing, but comic stuff will be a little different because of the format. But then again, my brain's going off in this direction. I haven't really heard anyone talking about the writing side, like contesting AI taking over like typewriter work. I see plenty about the artist.
That's probably harder. I think it's always harder to argue plagiarism in writing than it is in art, in visual art, I suppose.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I suppose I can understand.
Because unless you're quoting, word for word, somebody else's, iconic lines or descriptors or something like that, then there's only so many ways you can say things. Not that you can't get very creative and poetic and what have you, and add your own little flourish, but just because there's such, I guess, a wealth of ways to express English in any language, for that matter. Yeah, I think it becomes hard to nail down a writing style in the same way that you can nail down a illustrating style.
Yeah, definitely a little trickier. Not to mention there's plenty of anti-plagiarism tools that are out there too, which helps.
Well, there's that too. I mean, I know that there's tools for like educators, not students, teachers and what have you. They'll use tools that can, search for, assignments and things like that.
Yep.
People have
sure
submitted.
pasting.
Yeah, make sure you're not just copy pasting, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So detection in that sense may be a little easier on the part of writers, in a word for word sort of way. But I also I'm not as familiar with how AI generated writing is done. Obviously, it's got to draw from written source material.
Yeah, but, it's same type of logic as the art stuff. A lot of the if you want to create like say a work that was done in the style of like H.P. Lovecraft or something, the machine learning side has consumed a lot of the scripts for his books and whatnot. So,
but you're quite right that you don't hear people raising as much of a fuss about the the written aspect of it.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's just an issue of like not being a part of like writer circles, whereas like VTubing circles overlap with artist circles quite a bit.
It's a more visual medium, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know, fascinating stuff to me at least.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, but the story of where this all goes, Mada Suzuku.
Well, that was one point. Did you say you had something else?
Yeah, the other one was just a simple quote I saw either in a YouTube comment or on
quotes.
Reddit or something. But the whole moral, because right, the title of their follow-up video was, "Did AI change animation forever?" And I think the conclusion after playing with AI related stuff for a good few months now, it's not the tool that's going to replace or change the medium. It's the people using it, right? So. Yeah, I'm very eagerly watching what's happening here.
We'll do it. Well, I can give you another sort of quoticism. So there was this idea that AI might be developed, within this how would you call it? This idyllic, this paradisical, this what's the opposite of a dystopia? A utopian ideal. That AI might be developed to like replace manual labor, that humans could focus on artistic pursuits, but rather what we get instead is that we're using AI to replace art so that humans are going to have to do more work, more manual labor, which is, awesome. I'm so glad that we're here. This is great.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole though. I could probably talk for another hour just on that idea, because I've seen a few videos that have talked about this concept of how some of the folks in Silicon Valley do really see a potential for utopia out of what AI is creating.
Dragon's people.
My people. Maybe once upon a time. I don't know anymore. But I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch, but I also wonder, is it a stretch because we only see the cause and effect during the churn, during the transition, or is it a matter of like perspective with what life would be like once this was solidified, right? Like, can we even fathom what day-to-day life would be like once automated cars were working to perfection? Once, hey, if I wanted to make a game, I had a way to have an AI assisted way to basically make the game, right? Like, is
did you
that...
see that?
Yeah, what's that?
I was going to say, did you see the story about the Teslas with the steering wheels falling off?
No,
just falling off mid-drive.
Just mid-drive because no one's holding it, or they don't staple it on?
No, literally falling off of the steering column. Like coming loose, coming off. Yeah, mid-drive. There was one person who died from it, at least one person. And I think there might have been one other case of this happening as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's, it doesn't instill confidence, unfortunately.
It'd be funny. Turns out the steering wheel was there just for decoration the whole time. It's like one of those children's driving.
We just put it on because the regulator said we had to. It wasn't really doing anything. It was just there, sort of, to fill out the car.
The AI has been watching the way you turn the wheel and been replicating it the whole time. That'd be wild.
We found out that we can charge more if we have a steering wheel. That's all it came down to.
Oh, speaking of these self-driving cars, here's a question I have for anyone still tuning in, and maybe yourself, is so my understanding is, like, if you buy a Tesla and you wanted to take like a long road trip, basically the navigation will direct you to various pit stops and charging stations where you might have to sit for like 20 minutes or more to let your battery charge to make sure that you can make it to your final destination, right?
Yeah, you got to wait a bit, right?
That sounds like a big pain in the ass to me, especially if you're trying to go to like a remote area. What happens if you want to go camping and there's like no charging station in the mountains? Like, I don't.
Then you don't go. No, you don't take a Tesla there.
You just
sorry. How are you just figuring out that that there's an infrastructure issue with electric vehicles?
Listen, I live in California. That's wildly known now, and there is a push out here to get combustion vehicles off the road. So. I'm just thinking to myself, like, if I ever wanted to go to Yosemite, and let's say in like as little as 6 years, like California being a crazy state that it is, was like, okay,
we gotta go before Yosemite
electric cars
explodes.
only. That's a fair point. Yeah. Watch out, Yellowstone. It's coming for you. Or
Oh yeah, I was thinking of Yellowstone. I was thinking of Jellystone. My bad.
no, it's close enough. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, oh, the infrastructure just isn't there, so it's going to be a while before that can happen. But yeah, we're in a wild little transition period. I'm curious to see if I'll even live.
That
to
would
see
kind
the
of
result
suck if Tesla just went belly up. If it just went under after they put all that work into setting up stations and they just don't get maintained, and then nobody fills the void, and then we get another 20 years before anybody tries it again.
Ancient new civilizations will be coming. Like, what are these weird towering structures that look like
these strange obelisks?
Yeah, exactly. There are hundreds of them across this country.
Actually, I did read a story, and this might just be a California issue as well, of people stealing the charging cables off of these.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, because they're all full of copper, because they got to be to, conduct electricity.
Yeah. I have not heard that, but I fully believe it because, God, the state's weird. I should have moved out.
So it makes sense. It makes sense to me. Like, you should put that charging cable in the car instead, and then you yank it out of the car and plug it into the charging station instead of having this big copper wire hanging off of the charging station all the time. If people are just going to come up and yoink it.
That's actually a super smart idea. Like they're building these charging stations in the image of gas stations, essentially. Yeah. Whereas, the nozzle doesn't have to be a nozzle. It could literally be the hose in the car.
It's just a plug. It's just a cord.
I actually thought a smarter idea.
The car instead.
Yeah, I actually thought a smarter idea was, rather than having these charging stations where you drive up and have to attach something, like why isn't it like conducting through the ground, or once you pay for it,
why aren't they electrifying the ground? Is that what you just said? Why aren't they doing that?
No, not like that. No, like in Japan, how they have the underground garages, or like the raised parking spots?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So something in that similar concept where it's like, hey, you move your vehicle above the space, and then there's like a panel that will rise up, because they already tear the whole thing up anyways when they're putting these charging stations in there, right?
They got to make modifications, yeah.
Yeah, why don't they just have like why doesn't the plug just come from below the vehicle rather than having to have any human interaction at all?
Probably for the same reason that they don't put, like, do you ever see those videos about like the proposals for like solar powered roads and stuff like that, where the obvious reason we don't do that is because you've got tires driving on it, and tires are full of rocks, and they're going to scratch stuff up, and it's not going to be as efficient after a while. So probably the same reason is you don't want stuff driving over these plugs or these panels or whatever, if it's just going to get scuffed up, anything that could damage it. And especially if you're, got to keep reminding you, Dregn, not everybody is California, boys. Some places they've got snow, they've got adverse weather, that sort of thing. Yeah.
You guys got your seasons still. That's
we got seasons.
Don't worry about it. There will come a day where we'll be underwater. It's fine.
Where it'll all be underwater.
Yeah.
And then we'll just have to worry about salt erosion.
You know how to swim, Vector?
Do I know how to swim? Yeah, well, we know how to swim. We know how to swim.
Listen, it's surprisingly common for people not to know how to swim, especially the closer to the middle of the country you get to, or the middle of anywhere.
I guess so. That's true. If you're not around a big body of water or something.
Yeah, there's at least one person in our common circle that doesn't know how to swim, but that's also because they have no water. They have no water where they're from.
No water?
Yeah, there's no body of water. They live in the middle of a flat nowhere.
Oh,
that might ring a bell.
It could be as.
Yeah, it couldn't be.
Couldn't be as.
Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Well, Dregn, another fantastic evening of conversation, of good times.
I'm glad I didn't fall on my face with pop culture.
Exactly. You didn't get too embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm almost glad that we didn't have a third member here with us. We got to have such riveting convos. We completely whiffed on Nef tonight. I wonder if hold on. Did I get... Oh, no, I saw a little comment here. It was you posting the anime rock, paper, scissors. Well, no, it looks like Nef's still out for the count.
To be fair,
It seems like she was up late gaming.
Yeah, she had classes yesterday. She had to hang out with me yesterday. She had to do
Oh, that's rough.
raiding yesterday. Yeah, she had a busy day yesterday. So, well,
Ellie saying she can swim. That's another for the swimmers. I have taken swimming. Oh, wait, I've taken swimming classes, but I can't swim. I just sink. How is that even? How can you not swim? Ellie, Canadian, on the coast, can't swim. Goodness gracious.
A fun story too. As much as I enjoyed the pool when I was growing up, so I had done water polo for several years, and man, that first few weeks of the first few weeks of joining that sport was me pulling myself along the edge because practice was like 3 to 5 hours, and I'd only ever just kind of played in the pool or played in the ocean, but swimming for 3 hours plus straight, ooh, that is a different kind of lifestyle.
I believe it. I believe it.
People try.
Wait, so Ellie, I've tried. People have tried teaching me. I can't do it. So what do you do? What do you do at the beach? You just hang out? You just walk in the water? Or what do you do at the pool? You just tan? You just lie around? You can't go swimming? Man, that sounds rough.
As someone with gills and fish legs, you totally
He's got
can.
Fish legs.
You just don't believe, and because a human's body is naturally filled of air and is contained with water and salt, so you naturally float. But
it's true, you're full of air as a human being.
Yeah, but it is possible to. I don't know exactly the technical details around it, but you could like lower your center of gravity and expel air, and you can cause your body to sink. So yeah, fun times.
Fun times.
Beaches are kind of
gross pulling off some sort of water jutsu over here. What's that? Collect seashells, play in the sand. Hey, that's not bad. Start digging some holes.
Not bad at all. There you go. You can bury.
Beaches are kind of gross, anyways. I'd like to comment on the poor state of Canadian beaches. They're awful. The sand is it's full of rocks, and it's not great, and it's rough, and it gets everywhere. And yeah, like 2 out of 10 would not recommend. That's my take on Canadian beaches.
That's crazy. Yeah, South American beaches have been super beautiful, and then Hawaiian beaches are just the best. Japanese beaches seemed like they were okay.
Japanese beaches, I've been to Japanese beaches. I prefer Japanese beaches.
Beaches out here are just not great either. Oh, really? Our beaches are better than yours up there? Oh boy. Oh boy.
Must be something in the water. Maybe it's all that freedom, Dregn. It's all the freedom you put in the water.
It's all the freedom.
It's all the freedom you just litter on the beach. It's just coated in freedom.
Oh boy.
So that says something. Well, yeah.
Next time we get Nef on here, we'll have to ask her what the state of the beaches where she's at is. What that's like. I don't think she's a
Those
beach
East
goer,
Coast
though.
beaches. I'll jot down a note. We'll make a note of it to bring it up next time. But yeah, once again, big shout out to Dregn and to Nef in absentia. Be sure to check them both out if you're not already. Fantastic friends of the show. Dregn, anything you want to say before we go for the evening? You want to let folks know where they can find you? Anything cool that's coming up that you want to promote?
At the moment, no. In the near future, before the end of the month, we'll be sharing the Dungeon Core YouTube channel, which I have some ideas of what we're going to be doing on there in the near future. Once the system of the mechanics of the game are all sorted out. Outside of that,
playtest next week, you guys. Make sure you tune in.
I don't know if we're streaming that one. We might have a video uploaded after the fact, depending on how it goes.
Never mind, super secret. Don't tune in.
Yeah, listen, playtest literally #1, so it's early. It's a baby. We gotta care for it. We gotta hide it from the masses. Or at least
we're going to do our best.
But yeah, Dungeon Core is kind of my obsession right now. And then we'll leave it at that.
All right, well, we will see Dregn tomorrow night, as well as Nef and friend of the show, Meg of the Stego, as we play a little... Oh, the name escapes me. Helldivers. We're going to be playing some Helldivers tomorrow, Dregn.
Yes.
That should be fun. Yeah. And then we'll have Dregn back here on Friday as well for a little Halo Infinite. Brand new season, brand new pass, brand new maps, brand new modes, brand new weapons, all sorts of fun stuff. I've been playing a little bit of that myself. It's good time.
We're gonna have to get our back braces on. It's gonna be
so that we can carry the team. We're going to do so good.
Yeah.
We're going to do so good. That'll
Last-
be me,
last I
Dragon, Soul,
remember-
and Zenobia.
Yeah, last I remember playing with Zenobia and Soul, we actually had an interestingly working composition going on, I feel.
Well, it's
Zenobia and Soul just go forward, and then you're out there doing cleanup, and then I don't know what I'm doing floating around.
Let them
but
run in, do a little damage,
yeah,
finish up the kills.
we're
You know,
making sure
it just
we're on
works.
par at
It
least.
just works, Dragon.
It just works. Just like that. Yep.
Just like
Just
that.
as Vector advertises.
Just as advertised. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to take a quick gander at Twitch, double check, make sure we know who we're raiding here. I think I know where we're going, you guys, tonight.
Ooh.
So, from both Dragon and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in tonight, wherever and whenever you are. You can join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, right here at Harbor Station, as we welcome back Dragon and Nef and Meg. We're going to be playing some Hellbound. It should be a great time. Until then, of course, thank you, Kieran, for those cheers. No matter what life throws your way, good luck and Godspeed. This is Vector Spaceman and Dragon Durant signing off for the evening. Take care, you guys. We'll see you on the other side. All right, now stick around for that raid. We're going to go see the Nova Swarm, you guys. They're playing a little, how you say, Breath of the Wild tonight. We're going to go check them out. Should be fun. Make sure you say nice things for me. All right, take care, you guys. We'll see you all again real soon.